Did you stumble across the fact that an attractive woman was killing her husbands for their fortunes and changing her identity while completely ignoring your work-life balance? As you grew increasingly certain another innocent man was going to meet his untimely death, did you lobby your boss at your nebulous DOJ job to let you fly all over the country to dig into this woman? Did your investigation bring you perilously close to becoming ensnared in this woman's web? If so, you may have just had sex with a creepy French hotelier in Hawaii in the Unkind Rewind, where we saw the 1987 psychosexual thriller Black Widow.
Thrill me.
I'm gonna name you Kodo. You get a name too, Podo.
His name is Happy Harry Hardon. He's a total sex maniac.
Of course.
Greetings from Minnesota, where I, Josh Dugan, am desperately searching for a new line of employment that lets me get seduced by a femme fatale on the government's dime. As always, I'm joined by my co-host Sean McGrath. Sean, have you been eyeing up property a stone's throw from an active volcano where you can put your next luxury hotel?
Mm-hmm. I'm going to a lot of parties with ice sculptures and unattended buffets, swimming pools, and just the who's who of upper crust with big shoulder pads type of parties.
Right on.
But yeah, I'm quite the jet setter.
Yeah.
In my partying.
I mean, our recording schedule would definitely support your jet setting lifestyle.
Very much.
As an evidence of it.
Considering how many times I'm kind of away from New York City, I mean, I may be tracking a killer as well.
You could be. On the line this week, we are joined by the delightful Laura Faye Smith. Laura Faye, have you booked your travel to Hawaii to chase down your own Black Widow?
Absolutely. I mean, not only could I be successful in that quest, but I could make a new friend and just dip a toe in the lady pond while I'm at it, I guess.
Sure.
Or become an Eskimo sister.
What is an Eskimo sister?
So, typically reserved for men, Eskimo brother is a term for friends who have slept with the same woman.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Well, it doesn't have to be friends, I don't think. I think it's just...
Right. It doesn't have to
two
be
guys
friends,
who have slept with the same woman, yeah.
Sure.
You know, It's Saturday morning and this is like the new Schoolhouse Rock. Could you make that into a little song? The Eskimo sister song?
First and foremost, we want to try to get terminology of 8th grade boys across on this podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really the thrust of this whole podcast, I think.
I think we also want to acknowledge that it's now called Inuit Brothers.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Be woke, people.
Let's be fair, okay?
All right, so Laura Faye, why don't you tell the listeners who were too late in arriving in Seattle and got taken out by their new brides, therefore missing our previous discussion with you in our Q's and T's installment last week, a little bit about yourself.
I am an actress. I live in Los Angeles. If people are like, do I know you from anything? Probably the thing most people would be familiar with is I voiced Princess Rosalina for the Nintendo games. I do a character called Noelle in Genshin Impact, so I've got kind of that voiceover world, and then within that countless other voiceover work. And then I've, in terms of projects I've worked in, people might have seen as I was on Grimm and Leverage, which are, network TV shows. And then right now I've been doing a lot of vertical dramas and things like that, because that's kind of the work that's happening in LA at the moment. So
as someone who still has a lot of friends who are varying degrees of working in the industry in LA, it's tight.
It's tight. But
not a ton of things are happening in LA, which is an existential issue.
Maybe I need to start marrying rich men and killing them, and then I don't have to worry about money.
I mean, it is a growth industry.
What do you mean start?
Right.
We won't delve too much into your personal life, but...
Yeah.
We
don't want to blow up your spot.
No.
Laura Faye has a lot of punches on her card in terms of men who've mysteriously died after she's married them.
There you go.
Before we rate Catherine's husbands in terms of who was asking for it most, where can our listeners find you, Laura Faye?
Probably the best place would be my Instagram, which is just my name, Laura Faye Smith. Faye is spelled Faye. So that's my handle. That's where I tend to post about most stuff.
Now, last week, I said that I had never heard of this film before seeing it on Laura Faye's list. Having watched it, I can reiterate that I've never seen nor heard of this film before it appeared on Laura Faye's list. That's not to say I didn't enjoy it, but I had no relationship or knowledge of this movie.
You didn't get 20 minutes into it and go like, oh yeah, I saw this. Because sometimes that has happened to you.
No, but so when I was editing the pre-interview, Laura Faye was talking about the Sheila thing.
Oh, The Last of Sheila?
Yeah, The Last of Sheila. And it's the name that threw me, because I have seen it. I saw it like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But did not remember because the name is not a name that makes a lot of sense in like trying to make sure that that thing stays memorable.
Right.
And it was the Ian McShane bit that I forgot. It was young Ian McShane. That was like, oh shit, yeah, that had like 30-year-old Ian McShane, which was
I know. Boo-hoo-hoo, you're so mean to me with the puppets.
Yeah,
I always think of that.
But yeah, that was a fun one. So I do routinely get 20 minutes into a movie and realize, oh, I've fucking seen this. There's this one Charles Bronson movie, 10 to Midnight, that I have seen the first 20 minutes of like 4 different times because I'll start it and then be like, no, I have watched this. Anyway.
It's like me reading 100 Years of Solitude and getting like to like page 35 and going like, oh yeah, I started this like 10 years ago and then 10 years before that. For some reason, it's still sitting on my bookshelf.
I read a whole Murakami book. It was a collection of short stories. It was, after the quake or whatever. I got to the 5th one. Like, I was just chalking it up to, like, Murakami kind of is one note or 3 notes. You know,
he does something.
Fetishism, missing cats and people in wells or whatever. And I got to the 5th of 5 stories and was like, I fucking already read this.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is if I've read something myself, I rarely will forget it. But when I was little, and my sister is 2 years older than me, and we shared a bedroom, and she was in school, and I was like in preschool, and I was just dying to go to big kid school like her because I wanted to do everything she did. And I remember at night when we were trying to fall asleep, I would be like, tell me about what happened at big people school today. And she would be like, she was a huge reader, so she would just basically tell me about what she'd read that day. And she was reading things that she wasn't even supposed to be reading in class. Like she would just have books from the library. And then when I got into schools, I'd be reading stuff and being like, how come I know how this ends? Like I know how this story ends. And it was because she had told me those stories. And I thought it was stories she was making up. Like I didn't realize these were books that she had actually been reading. And she just was like, oh.
You just thought she was dating a bunch of kids called greasers.
yeah, I know.
She talked about a rumble she was in.
Yeah. I remember being in like middle school even and reading something and being like, I know this. Why do I know this? And it was like something from like Kill a Mockingbird or something like that. She wasn't reading that young, but she did that consistently over our childhood where she would incorporate a story that she'd read somehow into something. And then I would have this inherent knowledge of it and then be like, I just feel like I know where this is going.
Your sister talked about being unjustly on trial for rape.
Wait, which thing are you thinking of?
Well, that's To Kill a Mockingbird.
Yeah.
Oh no, no, but I remember her just like specific instant like chapters from that book, like certain things. I was like, I know this. I know this. I don't know why, but
Remember when our dad was a Southern lawyer?
Yeah, a Southern lawyer, and there was this weird guy named Boo Radley who lived down the street.
Yeah, you always have to stand.
He looked like Robert Duvall. It was weird.
Is it your father's passing? Is that what prompts you to kind of stand now when Atticus Finch famously leaves the courtroom and all the black people in the gallery stand? And I think it's like your father's passing or something like that. Like show your dad with respect by standing for him.
Yeah.
But to answer Josh's like diverted question here, I have never heard of Black Widow. I have never seen the box cover of this. I must have passed it in the video store 1,000 times without knowing about it. I'm admittedly very kind of naive about Theresa Russell's career. Like, unfortunately, the Marvel franchise has really kind of taken the pie chart for this name, and Black Widow will now be even more difficult to kind of find.
Yeah.
Now that it's going to be on like the 3rd page of Google listings when people try to find this movie. But yeah,
you have to search with the year.
I probably, Laura Faye, I'll say this with like 90% confidence, I probably would have gone my whole life without knowing about this movie's existence were it not for you.
Wow. Okay. Are you cursing me or thanking me?
We'll get to that.
Okay.
There's a whole cursing section.
Okay.
I mean, when we saw your list, and I talk about this on this show off and on, that everybody has a Black Widow from their youth. Everybody has a movie that they've seen a few times that they remember really well, or they remember fondly, and nobody else has heard of. When we spoke to friend of the show, friend of people here, Lori Ferraro, she had like 2 or 3 movies that Josh and I were absolutely befuddled on. One of them was called Turk 182.
I have not heard of that.
Again, we hadn't either. And was it like Midnight Madness, Josh?
I knew Midnight Madness, but
okay.
I
did not know about Midnight
But
Madness.
I only know that because Lori would sing the theme song. She'd be like, Midnight Madness. And so that's how I had a cognizance.
We
it
did
was
not
through
have
her.
that privilege.
Okay.
If I remember correctly, Midnight Madness might have been a TV movie. It's Michael J. Fox's first credit, which is why I've seen it.
Okay.
But he has like 13 in it, and it's really fucking weird.
Yeah.
The funny thing about 13-year-old Michael J. Fox is that's the voice that he got stuck with for the next 50 years.
Yes. We've had plenty of lists where it's just like, I don't know that movie. Like with Chelsea Kane, it was A High Road to China. I had no fucking idea what that was.
Yeah, so I would say that, like, I don't know if you had this perception, Laura Faye, but, like, would you have thought that most people knew about Black Widow?
Yeah, because I remember my mom being so excited to see it when it came out on cable. Like, we didn't see it in the theater. We watched it at home. And she was stoked. She was just like, I'll type your paper for you if you will, like, watch this movie with me tonight, because she needed me to be done on time. So she must have been hearing about it somewhere, or maybe she just read it in the previews, that showed up in a guide or something like that. But I saw it multiple times when it was on, because it was on cable. And so it would be on and we would watch it again. Like, it would just come on. And I feel like we taped it, and I did watch it again voluntarily that way.
Aside from your mom, though, do you remember any kind of, like, water cooler moments or cafeteria moments at school where you were able to talk to a friend about Black Widow? Or be like, oh yeah, that was great when we had when she went to Hawaii? And
I'm sure I talked about it with my friends if they had seen it too, but I don't have a memory of that. I don't remember watching it with my friends. I don't remember being like, you got to come over and watch this movie. It was like something my mom and I had watched together.
But it's not like Josh and I just mouth agape, kind of cross-eyed, going like, I think she's made this movie up.
No. I mean, it was out there in the world. For Debra Winger was in it. Debra Winger was a big movie star at that point.
She was coming off. She was on a heater at this point.
Like, terms of endearment and stuff. Like, it's not like it was a bunch of Theresa Russell wasn't super known, but like.
Well, she was doing art house stuff, like, because she was in all those Nicholas Roeg films, who was her husband at the time.
Oh, right. Okay.
So she was in, there's a string of them that Jim O'Rourke named his albums after. So Eureka, Insignificance, and Bad Timing are all Jim O'Rourke albums that are named after Nicholas Roeg films.
Interesting.
And she's the star of all of those.
Okay.
She was very much his muse. Eureka, I just saw, and had Gene Hackman in it as a weird gold tycoon.
Mm.
But yeah, she'd been in a lot of that stuff, but she was mostly in like art house stuff.
Got it.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at her like biggest credits, right? Like maybe the mom in Wild Things.
Yeah.
I mean, she had a role in Razor's Edge, Straight Time with Dustin Hoffman. But yeah, there's not that thing that kind of jumps out that you can immediately go, oh yeah, like Debra Winger has her Terms of Endearment and has her Urban Cowboy. But she's kind of she's a very sneaky leading lady, I would say.
And I had never heard of her before this movie, for sure. I had no idea who she was.
Physical Evidence was the Burt Reynolds movie that I was trying to think of last week.
Which would be on somebody's list, and I would have the same reaction too.
Yeah, I've seen that too.
I'd be like, but you're a Burt guy.
I'm definitely a Burt guy. Now, Laura Faye, how long had it been since you last saw this?
Oh, easily like 30 some years.
Okay.
Easily, yeah.
Did your mother type up your paper so you could watch Black Widow this time around?
No, no, she didn't, but I should have asked her to. I did tell her that I told her about this podcast and stuff. And she's like, I don't remember that movie very well. I'm like, yeah, but that's a typical answer from her these days on most things.
Okay. You could send her the trailer, maybe in anticipation of the release of this episode.
I mean, I think when we talked about it, she's like, oh yeah, I remember something about that, but she's old, so.
Sure. I mean, we've all seen a lot of movies over the past 30 years. I was shocked that you remembered as much of it as you did. Frankly.
I was shocked too. And here's the funny thing. Like, when I was sitting there watching it, I was like, I couldn't exactly remember her job. So for a minute when we were watching it, I'm like, wait, is she a journalist? Oh, no, she did work for the government. I didn't remember it was DOJ. And if you had asked me to go scene by scene through this movie and like tell you what happened after what happened, like I couldn't have done that. But the second the scene started, I remembered, right, this scene. I was remembering them as they were happening. But the plot, I was like shockingly accurate about that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I got anything wrong.
Speaking of plot, let's just throw to the first clip. We asked you what you remember the plot of the film being.
Basic plot is Debra Winger is some kind of, I don't know who she works for, the government in some way, but she gets interested in this woman, Theresa Russell's character, who has been marrying wealthy men and they've been dying. And her thought is that she's killing them. And she kind of floats this idea out there and everybody doubts her. So then she decides to take matters in her own hands and she goes down to Hawaii. She like figures out where she is now and she befriends her. And she's and it is true. Like that is what's happening. And Theresa Russell's in the process of getting ready to marry this other guy. And Debra Winger is like, ends up kind of falling in love with him and trying to intervene. And then Theresa Russell frames her for it. And then, but it's a double frame in the end. Like, that's what I remember the plot being.
So again, pretty solid recall. You later filled in Seattle and her being a bit of a Southern belle in one of her, personality iterations. Were you at all surprised that your memory of the film kind of jumped to Hawaii while you were describing it here?
No, I remember those pieces.
Okay.
I just wasn't sure how much information you guys wanted. And also knowing
100%.
you guys were going to watch it and hadn't seen it, I didn't want to totally ruin it for you because part of the fun, I mean, it's like a noir thriller type thing. I'm like, watching it unfold is part of the enjoyment of seeing it. So I didn't want to be like, and then.
Right. Did you think that Catherine was going to rack up as many bodies as she did?
When I first watched it way back then or now?
No, this time now. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I remembered how many that she had killed. Yeah.
We know of 3.
We know of 3 because we don't know.
No, we know of 4.
Yes.
Oh, well, Paul's not a body. Never mind. She doesn't kill bodies. So
but we don't know what she's done before she's in New York.
Yeah, I was like, how long had this woman been doing it? Was that and that's what the movie never really explains, was the publisher that we know at the opening of the movie is dead. Was that her first kill? And if so, why? Like, did she just do it because she was sick of him? Because she actually is like crying over that one.
I think that's really significant, right?
Yeah.
Right.
That first scene where we don't know yet that she's a Black Widow.
Yeah. We just know that she's been widowed.
Other than the title, yeah.
And that she's poured liquor down the drain.
Yeah.
Which really bothered me.
It bothered me too that she just left the bottle in the sink with the water running and walked away. I was like, well, get some soap involved. Like, what is that going to do?
As an alcoholic, Josh was furious.
Livid.
And you knew that it was probably pretty premium stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He was rich.
That presumably $1 million apartment in New York was not going to have the bottom shelf.
No.
Brandy or whatever that was. But I don't think we have a scene like that anywhere else in the movie, right? Where post-funeral or post-wake, we have Theresa Russell kind of in a fetal position on her bed holding a photo, right?
Yeah.
I believe she's holding a framed photo of her and her husband.
And she seems genuinely sad.
But there's nobody else in that room.
Yeah.
This is not a performance unless you argue that she's kind of practicing.
Maybe.
Yeah, but it doesn't feel like it's for anyone.
No.
Because in the subsequent murders of these husbands, we don't have her show that type of emotion.
No, except she kind of does it, I think, when she thinks Paul is dead, but it's because she's being confronted and she's like, and she's all dramatic.
Yeah, that's performative, yeah.
Yeah, but this one, she's completely alone and seems genuinely sad. And
well, the first one is always the hardest if this is the first husband that she's killed.
Maybe so. But we never do learn why she did it. We know she did it because she's hiding evidence, but we don't know why. Like, it's never explained.
We don't know the length of this relationship as well, right?
No, yeah.
Okay.
Her age jumps around, too. Like, when Debra Winger has, like, been tracking her, like, I know they said she was, like, 39 for the publisher, but then 28 for the toy magnet, the Dennis Hopper
Theresa
one.
Russell can play any age.
Yeah, I mean, what a gift for an actress to be
Yeah.
able to, like, legitimately tell her age, and she can
Like-
do that.
10 years.
And we'll be right back.
So if we were to power rank the husbands in terms of who was asking for it the most, given that we know nothing about the first one, who do you think should have died most of the three husbands that we know, Laura Faye?
God, definitely not the dude in Seattle. He was so nice. I mean, he was just like a nerd who got taken in. I felt bad for him. And they went to great lengths to show you he was a nice guy. Like, he was nice to Debra Winger, that he was kind of just antisocial, and that she really like went after him.
That was Nicole Williamson, by the way.
His second appearance on this here podcast.
Listeners will recognize him from Return of Oz.
Oh, okay. I didn't recognize him from anything either.
You may have seen him.
Was he in Excalibur?
He is an Excalibur. He
I've never
plays
seen
Merlin.
that.
Okay.
Yeah. Is he British?
Very.
Yeah. That's right. He was British in this. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I guess I'd have to say the first one, because Dennis Hopper was fun. Like, what was wrong with him? Like, he seemed like a fun guy to be married to. What did he do to deserve it? You know,
He was like a toy magnet, right?
He
like,
was.
Yeah.
He had a giant gorilla.
He was like Mr.
Steve
K.
Toys R Us.
Yeah, he was Mr. KB.
I actually did not know that. I had no cognizance that was Dennis Hopper till I watched it this time around. And I was like,
Okay.
oh my God, what was Dennis Hopper doing in like a bit role in this movie?
Under 5 minutes of screen time.
Huge career at this point. Why was he doing
Yeah.
this?
We need to kind of crack the code. Maybe there's a investigative audience member out there, someone who listens to the Unkind Rewind, to answer the question of what the fuck is Dennis Hopper doing in this movie for 5 minutes?
Yeah.
It's clearly a favor to Rafelson, because Rafelson's tight with Nicholson. They work together like 5 times.
Okay.
So, 4 or 5 times.
Was this asking Jack Nicholson, and Nicholson, like, kind of kicked the can down the road?
No,
to
but
his
go
buddy
get the
Dennis
hop. He'll
Hopper?
do it.
Yeah, go get the hop. The hop will do
Yeah.
it. I got Laker tickets that night.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
Right.
I audibly said, while watching this movie, "Oh, hi, Dennis Hopper,"
Yeah.
to "Oh, bye, Dennis Hopper." Those two things were said aloud while watching this movie in a span of 5 minutes.
Did you
Yes.
get to the poker scene and say, oh, hi, David Mamet?
Oh, that's right.
I knew it was him, but like I didn't clock him until I was looking at the details of the movie later.
He's the guy that wins the pot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ned's got it.
I only know what he looks like as an old curmudgeonly fuck.
No,
Yeah.
I did not
Not
say,
as-
"Oh, hi, David Mamet," but I definitely should have.
Well, you know who else is in the credits, Sean? Did you watch the credits?
Tell me.
This is only going to make sense to you and me, but Alan Noss
Oh, wow.
is credited as clerk. And I went back and all the Seattle stuff, because that's where I would figure, because it was shot there. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, he lives in Portland, you know, and who knows where he lived at that time. Because I know he was in Ashland, you know, and different things. But it's for anyone listening who if you
Alan
guys
Noss, legendary Portland stage actor.
and artistic producer or artistic director
ART?
at ART for years. And so
Artist Repertory Theater.
and he spells his name pretty specifically, Allen. And I was watching the credits and I was like, because I love doing that with an older movie, because a lot of times I don't remember or recognize people. And I was like, Alan Noss. But I went back and I'm like, maybe he got cut, because I
Okay.
could not find him in there.
It's entirely possible he got cut, but I'm going to now go back. I know what Alan looks like.
Yeah, tell me if you find it, because I couldn't find it, because it said clerk, so he had to have been like a hotel desk clerk. So many of these scenes were like, you know, 2-person scenes, especially in the Seattle stuff. So I couldn't find him in there.
We've seen, I can't remember
They
where
could have been
I've seen it
cheating
from.
somewhere else for Seattle too. Cheating
Portland?
Seattle for somewhere else, rather. You know, it may have been outside of the Seattle stuff.
This may be an esoteric actor, but did anybody clock who was the kind of Hawaiian policeman that she teams up with?
Yes. of course.
Not that guy, but I sure love the guy who played the detective she hired, Shin.
Oh, right.
I remembered that dude, and I'm
James
like,
Hong?
James Hong, yeah.
and I didn't know him from anything else then or now, but I went and looked at his IMDb, and I was just like, you know, he's doing a lot of voiceover and stuff at this point.
He's in everything.
But he's
Yeah, he's in
so
everything.
great in this movie, and I had forgotten how great he was, where he's so, like, I would have loved to have seen his audition for this.
Yeah, he's great. I mean, most people might know him as being Cassandra's father in Wayne's World. He has to fight in sort of an overdubbed kung fu fight scene.
Okay.
But Josh, do you want to clue the audience into who plays the Hawaiian detective?
Shit, you know what? I thought you were talking about him, actually.
Okay.
I thought you were talking about
so
James
the
Hong.
Hawaiian detective is played by, I'm going to stumble on his name, but
Is he from Hawaii Five-0?
I believe he's Japanese because he plays Mr. Miyagi's brother in Karate Kid Part 2, where they have to go to Japan, which also was Hawaii, which makes me think that this is a Hawaiian local. You know, I imagine that a lot of the Hawaiian actors that got screen credit were locals, other than James Hong. But yeah, I did kind of sit up and clock that when he showed up. Josh probably lost his fucking mind when Terry Quinn shows up.
I lost my mind. I had no memory of him being in that. I didn't know him till Lost. Like, that's the first time I saw him, and I'm like, oh, young Terry Quinn.
He was the stepfather in The Stepfather.
Yeah,
which there's no way you didn't see.
I did not see that movie.
Stepfather has appeared on lists.
It's been on multiple lists. It was on Ted's list, actually. But, Terry O'Quinn and Debra Winger
this
are
is why
husband
Josh
and wife in my favorite show ever, Patriot.
Oh, I've never seen that either.
Yeah, that's
Amazon
definitely
Prime
show.
A show that we encourage everybody to go out and track down. Had 2 seasons on Prime and then was kind of unjustly eradicated, like most things.
It was on the 4th head of Amazon Prime Studios, so.
It is a show so ahead of its time, it couldn't possibly survive. But Terry O'Quinn and Debra Winger play a married couple. Kind of,
or they may be divorced, but the kids are theirs. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I imagine when Terry O'Quinn shows up to have not only be in this movie, but to have a lot of scenes and screen time with Debra Winger, like Josh probably got turned on.
Oh, big time. And I was so jazzed because I was like, this is probably why she was in Patriot. Because Debra Winger doesn't act that much anymore.
No.
I don't think she has to.
Yeah.
O'Quinn was like, I got somebody for you.
Yeah.
Let me look in my contacts real quick.
Now, why do you think you couldn't remember what Debra Winger's exact job was here?
Oh, because I'm sure I had no idea what the DOJ was. You know what I mean? Sure. It's all just like government letters and whatever. Like, I don't think at 16 or however old I was, like, I could have explained to you what the DOJ was or what they did. I remember the thing about the green windows. I knew it seemed like government-ish, but zero interest in like anything like that.
I don't think the job was defined well in the first place.
Yeah.
No. I think we get data analysis at some point, right?
Yeah.
He talks about that she's good at what she does, but that she's
not a field agent.
It's just a nebulous job to me.
Yeah.
It's not like a job that you can say, oh, I'm a bus driver and everyone knows what that is. This is, I don't know what this is. Like,
we know that she sits in front of a very old computer all day and does
Yes.
something and her neck hurts. Like, you know what I mean? We kind of gathered that. But she seemed more like a reporter.
Yes, 100%.
You know, like that she had a lead on a story, and that younger guy who she worked with who asked her out was like, I found out more information about this, you know, and like that they were like, is that what the Department of Justice does? They like look into weird death cases? Is that what their job is? I have no idea.
I don't think so.
Maybe back in 87.
Like, what do they do now?
It has such a newspaper vibe, though, immediately at that office.
Like, when it's playing out, I honestly did not realize she was DOJ until, I don't know, fucking a half hour into the movie.
Well, you know, when I because I was like questioning my memory as I'm watching, I'm like, oh, maybe she was a reporter and I thought she worked for the government because of the comment about the green windows or something. And then it's when she smashes the fortune cookie and brushes the broken pieces away, and it literally says Department of Justice on that piece of paper on the desk. That's when I'm like, oh no, she works for the Department of Justice. Like,
even then, though, I wasn't 100% sure that wasn't just some piece of paper on her fucking desk that she had gotten.
Like incoming
I thought
mail.
she was still a reporter at this point, and did not feel confident at all that she was DOJ.
Oh, yeah.
Her first appearance is driving her little kind of like cheap ass sedan with the backdrop of the Capitol. in Washington, D.C.
So we know
And
where we are.
we know where we are. Yeah, I immediately jumped to like, oh, she's with the Post.
Washington Post.
Yeah.
100%.
And the way that she dresses, this kind of frumpy, they really kind of hide Debra Winger.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, she needs to get a glow up later when she meets
and when
Theresa
she
Russell.
does, she really does.
Yeah.
Like when she shows up at the party in Hawaii after getting like
She's all vatted by
Right.
Theresa
Yes.
Russell. Yeah.
by Theresa Russell.
She
Theresa Russell.
gets Galinda'd.
Yeah, she gets Galinda'd. Great verb. She gets kind of pretty womaned with by Hector Elizondo. You really go, oh shit, yeah, Debra Winger is of course like a stunning, beautiful woman who we have seen, Josh and I have seen in Urban Cowboy, 6 years prior to this or something. But yeah, they really kind of just bury her in like maternity clothes for most of this movie.
Sludgy colors.
She's got a bag of death, just this oversized, hunky bag.
Well, she's got to carry her gun around, so.
She's got to carry her piece. Yep. She does some like weird little flip of her dress.
Her skirt. Yeah, she does that. Yeah.
Which may segue to like kind of the rampant sexual harassment going on at the DOJ at this time.
Oh my God. That was like, I had kind of forgotten like how, I'm going, no wonder all these women want to kill all these men. Like everyone around her, she was like the only woman until she meets Theresa Russell for the most part. She's like kind of this lone female figure, like in her job, she's playing poker with all the guys. Like you really don't see her around any women. It's mostly her interacting with men. And then half of them are creepy or like asking her out at work all the time.
I mean, her boss is
He's
way
so
creepier
creepy.
than any of the guys who were murdered for marrying Theresa Russell.
Like literally having a conversation, you need to go on a goddamn date. Like, here's my performance review.
Is he just trying to like carry water for D.W. Moffat's character? Who is that? Sean, did you watch Friday Night Lights when he is the dad of the new young hot shit QB who Coach Taylor hates in season 2,
No,
I think?
your TV retention far exceeds
Okay.
mine. Okay, I wrote this down word for word because it couldn't be more egregious. Debra Winger and Terry O'Quinn are having this conversation in his office, and she's trying to get the clearance to go and pursue this woman, right? She's a data analysis expert. She's a desk jockey, and she wants to go into the field and search this woman out because nobody else is taking this case seriously, right?
Right.
Here's the quote. "You want excitement. A lot of people don't look to get it all from their job." She says, "What do you mean?" He says, "Like having a goddamn date. When's the last time you rolled in here on a Monday because you had a big weekend?"
I know.
And there's this like strange music that tries to soften the tone a little bit and make it kind of after school special. But like, where is the HR department at the DOJ?
And this idea that that's him just trying to help her out. Like, girl, you need to get laid. Like, this is just the reason that you have you're career minded or you're smart or insightful or like there's no credit that she could be onto something and she's passionate about this because she's good at what she does. Yeah. It's all just like, could you just relax, and like,
could you just catch a D?
Could you catch a D and be a woman?
Well, her womb is shriveling up.
I mean, yeah. How old do you think she is supposed to be in this? Like, I mean, maybe
30?
30? Maybe?
No, I think she's playing a little bit older than that, right? I mean, it seems like a...
I don't know.
I mean,
I'm surprised if she was older that they didn't say her age. Look, you're like drying on the vine. You are 31. How come you're not married?
You're an old maid. You're like It's a Wonderful Life, Mary the librarian, who didn't get married to George Bailey, and so you're just going to be an old maid.
Yeah, lonely and desperate and alone.
Who's never getting dick.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting right here, your boss, who gives you neck massages.
And sometimes reaches down towards your boob, and you have to like come up with a reason to move away. Like that moment, I remember watching that at 16 and being kind of like icked.
He gets really close, right? And that like, what is the response? Like, he's like, she's working late. It's after hours. Nobody's there.
He says, "Do you want your neck rubbed?" And she says, "No." And then she sits up and it hurts. And she's like, "I want my neck rubbed." And he starts rubbing it. And then while he's talking, his hand like creeps down towards her boob. Yeah. And you see her clock it. And then she like turns in her chair to like interrupt the moment because she can't just be like, get your hands off my boob. Like, if she said that, that'd be like insubordinate and he'd retaliate. Now, here's the thing. I can tell you as a girl then and a woman now, we know that so well. Like, you just grow up like where someone pushes that boundary. And then the look on his face where he kind of raises his eyebrow like difficult, like he doesn't say anything. He knows that she knows what he was trying to do and that she's not okay with it. But you see him just kind of like, whatever, I was just trying to give you a little boob massage. I don't know why you're having such an issue with it. Like,
yeah, it's for your benefit.
Yeah, like you should, like, again, trying to get you to loosen up. Maybe you'd be happier. I was icked out at 16. I'm icked out now. And I'm like, yeah, of course she wants to leave that job. Who the hell would want to continue going to an office every day where that, and then the younger guy, nice enough, but she's like, no, I don't want to like go on a date with you because I really like working with you and I can't risk it falling apart. Like, you help me be good at what I'm trying to do. And that, he's at least, took it well. Yeah. And she was able to be direct with him. But then when she's dealing, but he was like her age, younger, but now she's dealing with
There's not that power imbalance.
He also didn't like try to cop a feel.
No, he just was like, would you like to have dinner? Like a normal, nice person. That's not creepy and
That's
weird.
not crossing a boundary. Yeah.
And she said no, and he wasn't like a petulant little bitch about it. Yeah. But then with this guy, she's got to walk a completely different line because of the power imbalance, because he's her boss. And I'm like, oh, don't women of a certain age know that situation so well?
I mean, I can't speak for women, but like, it felt like that's a real legitimate, they kind of keep it in one frame. It's one shot. They don't like do a close up of it. You just have to kind of absorb what's happening, see her deflection. She can't call him out. He receives no comeuppance ever for this. Presumably he's going to continue in this position. She goes back to work, presumably under this guy. It's such a strange wrinkle to this, and I'm wondering why they added it, if only to kind of reinforce that like these women are hamstrung. And these women are subjected to this world of patriarchy.
Like, maybe that's why she was so attracted to this case.
Yeah,
maybe.
100%.
She's living in this world where she's like, she becomes interested in this person who seems to have the upper hand.
Wish fulfillment.
Yeah. And there is this like, there's an attraction there that she is like kind of fascinated with this woman. She becomes obsessed with her because this is a woman who is actually running the show and in control and has all this power, like Theresa Russell does. And she clearly, in her situation, doesn't. She's either one of the guys or she's being kind of mildly sexually harassed.
Yeah. Killing Eve plays in the same sort of sandbox.
Yeah, it does.
Where the fascination...
I didn't even think
there's
of
a
that,
sexual element to it, but like it's definitely a fascination with the.
That is an excellent comparison, Josh, and I completely forgot about Killing Eve. But 100% same exact dynamic where they become obsessed with each other in that way.
Here are some ads. We'll be right back.
Now, watching as an adult, how did her falling for Paul Newton, who you described as swarthy and sexy, play to you?
I thought he was a tool when I was 16. Like, I kind of was like, ugh. I remember the whole thing where he like is supposedly pursuing Theresa Russell so hard and like, no, I want you, and she says, and I really distinctly remembered her saying, oh, Paul, you just want another woman you haven't slept with, which isn't the same thing as wanting me. Like, I remembered that line when I was 16 and thinking, ooh, that's a pretty good line. Like, she doesn't think that he actually specifically wants her.
Did you store that one away?
I kind of did, weirdly. Like, I think that's always, I really, like, before she said it, I knew what she was going to say watching it this time. And then the fact that then he just so easily sleeps with Debra Winger and then turns around and wants to marry Theresa Russell. And it's like, but of course you all understand because I can have whatever I want. And I remember not thinking he was very funny or interesting. Like, when you tell me which of the husbands I most think deserved to die, well, it was the one who didn't, him. Like, I would have 100% been like, yeah, because he's like obviously going to be unfaithful. Like, the web she was spinning on him was making sure he was devoted for her before she actually got into that.
Yeah. He's also about to set his investors' money on fire with a hotel that's like fucking a stone's throw from a fucking volcano.
But he's a visionary, you guys. He's a visionary. And he's got an accent.
He is French. Yeah, good point. Because like that goes a long way. Especially in 1987.
I didn't feel like it did here. I felt like he was a total fucking wanker.
I did too.
Yeah, but you're not a straight woman of the 80s.
I was, and I didn't think he was hot at 16. I remember thinking he was tiresome. Like, she's telling a really, like, kind of fun story when they're at breakfast together before they go off alone and sleep together. Like, she's kind of up and she's telling, and he's kind of watching her. And then whatever he said, completely forgettable, not funny or interesting. I'm like, maybe you could have just let her continue to be the entertaining person that she was and just nodded and smiled and laughed because she was like good at telling a story, where you came in and brought it down somehow. I don't even remember what he says. I just remember it was hard to understand because of his accent, and it was lame, whatever he said. You know, it is like this.
It's so strange that he runs back to Theresa Russell after betting Debra Winger.
Yeah.
It's the next day, right?
Well,
Like-
I think they're playing fast and loose with time in Hawaii.
Okay.
There are jumps. Like, I don't think it's just the next day.
No.
Maybe a few days have passed. I don't think there's anything that makes us...
I think she's been sleeping with him for a while. I got the impression that she lets the affair go on for a little bit. It gives what's-his-face time to take pictures, you know, like...
Right.
Yeah.
Sean, do you want to guess where James Hong was born?
Hong Kong?
Minneapolis.
Oh.
Yeah, he went to the U, bro.
Hey, go Gophers. Skayuma. Very interesting, yeah. That touch of Theresa Russell noticing him rolling his sleeves down.
Yes, and I love it. Like, you don't knock, I come to your house, I knock. I love that little speech he gives.
But she immediately clocked him as a heroin user.
Yeah.
And that's got to be like one of the toughest. Because
she's big on poisonous injection. Like, that's kind of her specialty.
Yeah, and this is the only time that she kind of has to be in the room, right, for her victims.
Yeah.
Every other time she has a very convenient alibi. But in this case, when she's pressed and she's in a tight spot, she has to enforce him to OD in the room.
Yeah.
Which is, you know, probably...
Do you want to die or do you want to die happy?
Do you want to die or do you want to die happy? And then Nick cut to...
When she said that, the first moment I was like, wait, what's going to happen here?
She is a Black Widow.
Yeah.
And I love when she's like petting his head while he's like prepping his injection and she's holding the gun. I mean, she's like very like quietly evil in that moment. And...
I mean, Josh, aren't you going out the same way? I mean, aren't you shooting up? Like, if given the ultimatum.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd rather take a hot shot than...
a bullet in the face.
Yeah. Were there any plot points that came rushing back to you? Any specific ones? Like, that came back, like, kind of before they happened?
I'm trying to think. The plot points... I was pretty clear on. You know what I mean? Again, I was not surprised by that. But I will tell you there were lots of little things that I had forgotten that I had kind of loved at the time. And I'm like, oh, right. She did that. Like the weird Theresa Russell choice to have these sudden weird, when she would get angry and she was alone, like when she's in the car and she like stiffens back from the steering wheel and then slams her face down into it where she goes, boom. And then when she's punching herself in the stomach, when she realizes that she's being tracked and like the screaming around that. And then kind of the violent way she grabs Debra Winger and kisses her at the wedding. Like she made this choice. And I'm like, did she like study like spiders who kind of like jump and grab prey? You know, is this like, did she do some kind of character study?
Some
like,
kind of animal work?
It literally, watching it now, I was like, I remember those moments being so weird the first time I saw the movie, being like, and again, I was getting interested in being an actor when I was watching this. And I was like, those moments really sticking out to me is just these kind of weird, surprising things this character is doing. And then watching it now going, oh, I wonder if this is like animal work that I'm watching.
It definitely feels, you know, and I think like it's an interesting component to this character who has to take out her frustrations on herself. She's never really, with the exception of her murdering people, she's not like a violent person.
No.
Right? She's very kind of self-flagellating. And that type of like anxiety over like, you know, the first time we see it is when she can't find the woman who's tracking her. She can't find this reporter at the hotel. And we cut to Debra Winger sitting outside in her car watching all this unfold. But it's very much like, I'm stressed out and this is how I release that stress.
Yeah.
Just to kind of like highlight what you just said, this must be kind of like an actor's dream.
Oh, one thing I remember, and I'd kind of forgotten about, is the scene where she's like getting ready to track the guy in Seattle. She's trying to like figure out how to kind of get in, and she's staying in that hotel, and she goes to the library, and like they bring her like 9,000 books on, and she's studying, and I remember thinking, oh, that's kind of cool. Like, she's like researching and studying and she's becoming this other person. And thinking that was just like, she was smart, like, that they've created this like villain who's super smart. But then Debra Winger is doing the same thing to her. She's studying and tracking her and figuring out her way in. And I did like back then love that about this movie. And then remembered when it came back and I'm like, oh yeah, you don't see a lot of female characters at that point who were written that way. Except I will say Coma as a really, really smart heroine, which was another movie that was on my list. And maybe why I was always attracted to those movies, even when I was young. I loved smart female heroines. Like, I loved that they were clever.
And aside from her being just really smart, she almost has this, like, controllable schizophrenia where we see very different archetypes. She has to change to attract these mates, right?
Yeah.
Like, her character in New York is a completely different character than this, like, hot Houston rich,
Southern
kind of
belle.
bouncy, Southern belle who wears like a red dress to the reading of the will.
Yeah, I know. Well, and speaking of that, I did not realize how much they used color in this movie till I watched it. Like, that shot when they're driving to the guy's house in Seattle and it's rainy and it's all the greenery and there's a red and a black umbrella walking down the street, like,
which are the Black Widow colors.
Black Widow colors. And then when she goes scuba diving, her suit is black and red, and then when Debra Winger starts like sleeping with Paul, she's in like a red bikini. She's like you start seeing the way they're using the color. And when they go to the party, Paul's party, Debra Winger's in a black dress, Theresa Russell's in a red dress. And, like, I was like, wow, they really like whoever costumed this. But I didn't notice it at 16. I noticed it now.
Her last scene with the confrontation with Winger, she's got like a red blazer with a black kind of blouse.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, aside from just kind of being a very clever, conniving character, her character in Houston is completely different than this very bookish, demure, almost like for a while, kind of asexual character when she's courting Nicole Williamson. It's all about getting on the board.
Yeah.
And then we do one of the greatest kind of hard cuts I've seen, where he takes her up to like Whidbey Island or somewhere in the Puget Sound, and then it's just butt.
Yeah.
It is this amazing hard cut of them on their kind of maybe first night together.
Yeah.
Away from Seattle. And the robe drops butt.
Yeah. But you know what I always thought was weird about that scene? She drops it and then puts the coat right back on and gets into bed.
She drops it, then realizing it's too cold, needs to go warm up.
This was a bad idea. It's so cold.
It's like, I don't know. It never made sense to me. I was like, she just took that off. You'd think she would have just got, like, I'm taking this off to get into bed with you because we're about to have sex. But she just drops it, turns and looks over her shoulder, puts it back on, and then gets back into bed.
We may need to talk to director Bob Rafelson about that one.
I wonder.
That's his kink. It's weird, but...
No, I bet it was Theresa Russell went in her contract, I'll show my butt, but I'm not doing full frontal.
Right.
So I'm going to drop it, and then I'm going to put it back on.
I'll give you side boob.
But if I have to like get back into bed where you would see everything in the front, because she like in the pool, like she's naked in the pool too. And we see her in like silhouette, but we don't see any full frontal in that.
We kind of see him as well. We see some like Parisian,
some French wang.
What did you say?
Some French wang.
French wang?
French wang.
Okay.
French wang?
Yeah. I mean, it's almost like side penis.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, like he's so smitten with her at that point. And I do kind of want to like bring to attention the great scene where Winger has the confrontation with Williamson, where she wants to warn him, and she doesn't.
Yeah.
It's just really tough to kind of watch that unfold.
Because you like him so much. You're like, you don't want him to die. And he seems like someone who, he was like, we don't know anything about the first husband, but like Dennis Hopper's character probably pursued her. He was very charismatic and
probably threw a lot of toys at her.
Yeah, exactly.
Being the toy king of Houston.
And you can tell that Paul's a ladies' man, but in Williamson's case, that guy is a recluse. He's never been married. He doesn't really know why. He's just like kind of interested in, he's brainy and nerdy. So he just seems like such a, like...
He seems like David Attenborough.
Yeah.
Like a woman like Theresa Russell probably has never shown him interest or affection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that you feel for him because like she just basically is setting out to kill him. Like, I mean, he's the poor innocent little butterfly that goes right into that
And he
web.
probably would have seen it coming. Like, he's probably had his share of gold diggers in his life, considering how rich he is. But she did the homework.
And she knew how to play on his level.
Yeah.
And she studied and got in there and like seduced him.
One more great kind of element, as presumably Theresa Russell is reading this script and going like, oh man, this is so much fun. I get to play like 5 different women
Yeah.
over the course of this movie.
Yeah.
Now, Sean asked if this was something that y'all had on tape. And you answered...
We watched it on Showtime, and then I think we taped it because we liked it so much. My mom, I remember in the very beginning of the movie, my mom turning to me and going, oh, this is going to be good. And because it was like a mystery suspense type thing. It was like these two, like female protagonists kind of trying to outwit each other. And then, I think we taped it, and then I watched it many times after that. And then, how Showtime is, where they would show the same movies. And if it was on, we would be watching it. Like wherever it was, we would just pick up and watch it again.
Did you remember what moment it was that your mom turned to you and said this is going to be good when you rewatched this time?
I feel like it was like the opening scene where she goes and dumps the bottle. Okay. Because my mom's like, oh, she did it, and she's pretending that she didn't, and then we very quickly like move into the second marriage. I feel like it was somewhere right in there where my mom was like, oh my God. They're not even like pretending she didn't do it. Like, It's obvious that she's like a murderer and she's getting away with it multiple times.
With the remove of a few decades and being an adult, what do you think it might have been specifically that kept you coming back to Black Widow through your high school years?
The story, for sure. I mean, I remember, like, I love a clever story. I love a story that like surprises you. And I think I liked the performances. And I've got to say, watching it back now, I don't necessarily think Theresa Russell was like this amazing actress. Like when I was watching it, I'm like, she's interesting, but Debra Winger is clearly a more skilled actress, but definitely that dynamic and that relationship between those two and the kind of mystery suspense of the whole thing. Even though I know what's going to happen, I think it drew me back to it.
Now, when I asked who you were more interested in watching as a teenager, you said without hesitation it was Theresa Russell's character. Is that still the case here, or?
I have this memory of thinking that Theresa Russell's character was more attractive, and that's certainly the way the movie sets it up. And watching it back now, I'm like, I actually don't feel that way anymore. I think that Debra Winger is more attractive, like for a lot of different reasons.
Yeah. Does it have anything to do with Theresa Russell's resting bitch face?
But she's actually not super expressive. That's what I noticed about her in this. Like, she's a little bit impassive. Like, there's the moments where the camera will be on her and even when she's mad or thinking, she'll just kind of do this weird little head cock and kind of twitch her eye a little bit. And that's about it.
It's the look I would expect she would give me after me delivering like my absolute best joke. Is that Theresa Russell would give me that look and my penis would fall off and I would run away.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, she's so set up as this person who's like absolutely irresistible. But I think Debra Winger's is way more charismatic, like her performance and her character.
She's like a real person.
Yeah. She's like a real person, but then she gets her glow up then, and then she's like super attractive I mean, yes, you're right. They went out of their way to make her like schlumpy.
Yeah. They gave her like the Mayor Winningham treatment from St. Elmo's Fire.
Yes.
Right.
Like, let's put her in the worst clothes.
We know that she's just objectively, like Debra Winger at this point in time, kind of a smoke show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, we saw her in Urban Cowboy, and she was very attractive in Urban Cowboy.
Yeah.
Sure.
She rides that bull, and you were just like...
Yeah, and she, she's an older woman now, but she's still, an attractive older woman. But yeah, I mean, the angle of this movie is that Theresa Russell is so...
irresistible.
Yeah.
Irresistible. Like, any man is going to die
yeah.
who gets caught in that web because they're unable to say anything but no to her.
Like, I'm curious, like, if you remade this movie now and you were casting it, who would you cast in as the Debra Winger and the Theresa Russell? Like, who would you think would be a good fit for those roles? Who's at those ages at this point?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I'd probably need to get like a list.
Yeah. And
go from there. Nobody's really coming to mind. Do you have any ideas?
Me?
Yeah.
I don't. I was actually kind of thinking about that. Like, who would be the contemporary, like, who is the, like, I mean, maybe a Margot Robbie for the Theresa Russell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like someone who's like that, just kind of, and could like morph and change like that. I was trying to think of like.
Yeah, maybe her.
Because she actually does a pretty good job of seeming like all these different women.
Margot Martindale?
Who?
No, me.
Are
Sorry.
you making a joke?
Yeah,
Character
she's-
actress.
she's very
TV character actress Margot Martindale, I believe, is how she's always introduced on BoJack Horseman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
She's a good actor, but yeah, not right for this.
I mean, honestly, like a Jodie Comer would, I mean, now that you brought up Killing Eve, like obviously she would be perfect for that because Jodie Comer can look really beautiful.
Yeah.
And she would be great for the Theresa Russell role.
The only one that's coming to mind for the Debra Winger character is maybe Zoe Deutsch. But
Yeah.
I'm trying to come up with anyone who's kind of that type.
Yeah. Who's like smart, can play dowdy, but then when you get him dressed up is like, wow.
I'm coming up blank.
Yeah.
So, were there any notes that the actors hit here that you took special note of this time around?
Let's see. Oh, well, this was like I always remembered the girl at the scuba class who was sick and wanted to be her partner, you know, to share the ventilator thing. And that girl's like actually not that great of an actress, you know, for that scene, because it's just kind of like, oh, well, I guess I'm the odd man out. Like I always remembered that actress and that little performance because it just seemed, and then that the scuba instructor had made this choice to like really hate that character. I did.
Well, yeah, it's like, what are you fucking doing in this class? You like infectious, you know, and like it's always the person who is like coughing up a lung.
Yeah.
Who is
Diseases
somehow a
didn't
doctor.
exist in 1987, Sean.
No.
You couldn't
Yeah.
get sick.
You couldn't get sick, but it's always the sickest looking person who's coughing up a lung that says to everybody, it's not infectious.
It's not contagious. I'm fine.
Yeah, as if you're some type of like CDC doctor. But yeah, it was a nice touch. I think that like that reveal of Winger to kind of swoop in and save Russell there
Yeah.
is a great touch.
Yeah.
Like that's how we reveal that Debra Winger is in Hawaii and that she has found her.
Yeah. And she's there. That I remember that. I had forgotten how much I liked Hong in this in Shin. Like I remembered his character, but I do think that his performance is great.
Yeah.
He steals his scenes when he's in them. You just like
He steals a lot of scenes in a lot of movies.
Yeah.
He's just that kind of guy.
Yeah. I mean, he's a grandfather in Everything Everywhere All at Once.
right. Because I looked him up and I'm like, he's been in so much stuff as a character actor.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I wonder how he felt, because if you look at his IMDb, it's like, how many different characters was like Detective Wong, Chairman Wong, visiting policeman Wong, like, you know, like just the unimaginativeness of the name they even assigned whatever character he was playing. But like you watch him in this and you're like, I bet he was like in everything he's done, he's just been good. And why wasn't something better written or given to him when he was at this point and doing such good work? Like I really like felt for him as an actor and as an Asian actor in Hollywood, that must have been hard and that he probably deserved a lot better than he got. I thought about that a lot when I was like watching his work going, he's really great in this.
We certainly don't hear the Minnesota accent.
No,
Do
I
we?
would have absolutely assumed that he had been like famous in wherever he was. Is he Chinese? I'm assuming.
Yeah.
He's from Hong Kong.
Chinese
and
American.
and he really leans into that. I mean, yeah, we could bring him on the show. I think he's still with us.
He is. He's 96.
He's 96. Yeah, he's great.
But he probably had an agent who was just like, look, I know you don't want to do this, but you got to do the voice again. It's a 8-day shoot in Hawaii.
Yeah.
You know, it's feature film.
And it's actually a pretty good role for you. You
It's
know,
a
you
pretty
get
good
to
role for
play.
you. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah. So, as Dominic Chianese, junior soprano, once said, you should be so lucky to be typecast.
Yeah, I guess. But yeah, I certainly noticed him a lot. Oh, and Diane Ladd is in it too. She played the sister, and I remembered her really well with that. You're looking a little peaky, dear. Can I buy you a tan? And then Dennis Hopper, not knowing who Dennis Hopper was, but I always like when he's like, listen, I don't know how to read the directions. I'm 5 fucking years old, so you tell me how this works. Like, I really remembered his performance because he was really funny.
He has a nice compliment to his wife when she points out the poison bottle of new brandy. He says something like, oh, that's my girl, or something
Right
like
again.
that. Right again. Yeah. You know, anybody that's going to make love to their wife on a display
Of toys.
table of presumably like up and coming toys,
Yeah.
like next year's models.
That's the spring line.
The spring
line of FAO
is-
shorts.
is certainly a child at heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember liking him, thinking that was too bad. I will tell you, every time in my life I have gone into a room for a safety deposit box, I have always thought of that scene with her doing the injection into the brandy.
Yeah.
Because I remember saying to my mom, like, well, how is she not going to get caught? My mom's like, because it's private. Like, that's a private space. They don't go in with you. Like, they let you in and then they shut the door. And I never knew that about safety deposit boxes. I thought, wouldn't there be cameras in there and stuff like that? And it's like, no, it's like actually private. So it's kind of, that was news to me as a teenager. Like, that's how those worked. And every time I've been incensed for any reason to a safety deposit box, I always think about her with that bottle, like a giant bottle in her handbag. And that she's got
cash. I think she's got
jewel,
like, maybe passports.
There's a
or
Tiffany's
something.
box.
Yeah, it's kind of a Jason Bourne-esque kind of like escape box, but with
Ondine's curse in a bottle.
Ondine's curse.
Yeah.
Yes. Have we looked into Ondine's curse at all?
I looked into it. It's not that interesting.
Is it a thing?
Yeah, it's now it's pretty much called central hypoventilation syndrome. It's congenital and very rare. Rare enough that it would pop.
Yeah. If a lot of
Is it
people
kind
start...
of like adult SIDS?
I don't.
Because all these guys kind of go in their sleep.
Right.
Yeah, I think so, but I don't know.
Although she diverges with the penicillin for...
Oh, right.
Like, she just got lucky with that.
That's why when you get married, you can't...
Let your spouse know what you're allergic to.
Yes, you
Well,
absolutely cannot.
he had a necklace on. He was wearing the medical...
Should have taken it off. I mean, they were getting naked. That should have been the first thing that
Well,
went.
if she can wear a coat, he can wear a necklace.
This little pendant that says, please don't murder me with penicillin.
Yeah.
He always says he's naked without his medical bracelet.
Yeah.
More on the Unkind Rewind in just a minute.
So you were asked what you thought it was about Black Widow that appealed to your younger self, and you said...
I thought it was clever and smart. Again, I was obsessed with Coma. That, like a movie, like any kind of a movie with a mystery element to it, I was always pretty interested in.
Okay.
I think I was excited about the fact I didn't know where it was going. I didn't know how it was going to end. You kind of think it's going to end one way, and then there's a switch in it. And I remember thinking that was really exciting. I love being surprised by things. Like the biggest disappointment to me, even now when I see movies, is when I'm 3 steps ahead of it. And I'm like, I know where this is going. I loved, oh God, I'm forgetting the name. Parasite.
Yeah.
When that came out. Because I was like, I have no idea where this movie is going. Like that to me is so exciting to watch as a movie. And I remember feeling that way about Black Widow because I'm like, I don't know who's going to win.
Was this the smart, intricately plotted film that you'd remembered?
I mean, it's a little hard to say now because I actually know where it's going, but I guess that's a question for you. Did you guys see the twist coming? Did you know? Like, were you surprised when he walked out, when she brings Sarah out and then him in the jail?
I'll speak for myself first. Josh, you can follow this, but I think I've seen just too many movies.
Yeah.
There was something about when they brought her in to the police interrogation and they closed the door, like alienating the audience. Like there's like the flashbulbs going off. They're like, why'd you kill him? And there was something about that we don't get to see this interrogation with the cops and her.
Well, we never see him die either.
Right.
We never see him die, but that's not, they've set it up in a really nice way where we don't see any of the guys die.
Well, we see the corpse of the first husband, but...
Okay, but we don't see his death. We don't see Dennis Hopper choking on brandy. We don't see Nicole Williamson getting the penicillin and having some type of seizure or something like that.
After he brushes his teeth.
I
did love that she put it in toothpaste. I was like, wow, that's clever.
Yeah, she is very clever. But like, I think that's a nice touch of this movie that we go like, I think that there's like the scene with the brandy and then hard cut to hearses, right?
Like drone shot of hearses.
Yeah.
I do think that I've just been too conditioned to, if I don't see the body, I need confirmation that the person's dead. And if I don't have that confirmation yet, then I'm not buying it.
Now I'm sitting here thinking about it going, if I had heard my husband was dead, even if I was the one to do it, wouldn't there be the thing of me going to identify the body? He died when she was out of town. Like, or there's a funeral.
Right.
Like, for Paul, how many days had passed? I mean, they obviously were up to like wills and things like that, which that usually is like definitely later.
He would needed to burn up in a small plane crash or something like that, right?
But he apparently had died in his sleep, sort of a thing. So I'm kind of like, wouldn't she have gone to just check, no pulse? You know, like it's weird to me now thinking about it. Like that is a bit of a nebulous point. Like how many days have passed, and they don't really say. And why wouldn't she have like had a moment with the body?
How long can Paul hold his breath? That's what you're asking.
Was he buried or immediately cremated while she was out of town? They're like, yeah, we immediately threw him in the crematorium. We didn't ask you. And here's his ashes, and we'll scatter him.
It was on his DNR. It was like immediately engulfed in flames.
Yeah.
Exactly. Funeral pyre, like
Viking
send it out
funeral now.
Yeah.
And dump me in the Seine.
Yeah. In the Seine, yes. So that to me is a little like a plot point that's, I'm watching it this time, I'm like, well, wouldn't there have been, it feels like time has passed.
Right. Because she goes all the way to fucking Florida for the will shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we presume that there's like at least like a week that's passed. I
You would think.
I think we should assume that. So he's just hiding, I guess.
And Laura Faye also did, in her kind of recap, whether or not we remembered it as we were watching this movie, Josh, she did say like, oh, there's a cross and then there's a double cross.
I did not remember.
Yeah, I didn't either. But I mean, there were too many things, I think, as having the body count of movies that Josh and I have. Yeah. We are so primed for like, okay, what are the touchstones that says they're trying to trick us here?
Right. And it's kind of a classic noir type of like a plot line to it. So
yeah, and I don't think that this movie has to like fool hardcore film nerds who are always kind of like crossing our arms, waiting for, waiting
the
to point
Sixth
at the
Sense
screen
to happen again.
Yeah, which was, Sixth Sense, admittedly, very, very much got me.
Me too.
But like,
I'm still shocked. My dad had it picked out like fucking 10 minutes in, and I was like, "You've got to be shitting me."
Yeah, never.
He didn't like lean over.
He did not know.
Okay.
This was just, oh, he's dead, isn't he?
Yeah, it never occurred to me.
No, I didn't either. But yeah, I don't think it has to do that. I think for the majority of people that this movie is geared for, that's a great reveal.
Yeah.
Of having him walk out, of having the family friend from New York walk out.
Why was Lois Smith there?
Why was she there? Like, what was, I think maybe just to rattle her.
Well, because she knew her under this other alias, right? She knew her as...
Oh, to say, yeah,
sure,
she's
but Debra
changing.
Winger's there and can like, whatever. I just...
But it is
she
proof
gave her
of someone
picture.
to say...
Like, she'd already confirmed.
If you're going to do that, you do it with every person. You do Diane Ladd. Yeah. You bring her back.
They only had Diane Ladd for one day, Sean.
You do it with the person who like interviews her or that she talks to at the museum. You have this kind of like Thin Man stuff where it's like, here are these people from 3 different aliases come out and be like, this is a very kind of hokey way of doing it. But you have them come out and you say, hello, Betty. Hello, Gretchen. Hello, Mary, or whatever her aliases were in those previous, Margot or whatever. I mean, that would be kind of hokey, but like you would get the messes that they're doing rather than just having
Lois Smith pop in the door randomly.
Yeah.
It's always weird for me to see her when she's young, because she's like, she's still a character actress, or she might be dead now, but she was like, she's been in an SVU that we've done for Munch My Benson, and she's just like one of those character actors that works forever. And she's actually Jack Nicholson's sister in 5 Easy Pieces.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which is Rafelson's, second or third movie that he did?
Got it.
It's a huge risk as well, because you're at that point convinced that this woman is a serial killer.
Yeah.
You have not frisked her. You do not know what's in her bag, right? She is now cornered. She is basically surrounded by like bulletproof glass and Debra Winger behind there. And then Mr. Miyagi's brother and your terrible haunted past. So like, yeah, it could have been an absolute shootout. But to have Paul come out and we see his feet, right? Like who could it possibly be?
Right.
We see his like little loafers and then we kind of scroll up all
It's
5
too
foot
bad
7
it
inches.
wasn't Nicole Williamson.
Yeah, it's too bad.
That would be, I know we would have been happy to see him again.
Yeah. Paul's dead, but...
Or Dennis Hopper.
Yeah.
But thankfully we saved Nicole Williamson.
Did the switch at the end play the same way for you now as it did back in the 80s?
Well, no, because I mean,
Okay,
I wasn't
Sure.
surprised.
Right,
Yeah, I
right.
mean, anytime you're talking about something that you go in with that curse of knowledge.
You can still, like, enjoy the thing because you're watching the pieces move around, though, I assume?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, granted, I was watching that movie multiple times even back then, knowing the end. So the delight and the surprise of the reveal was gone, but I
Sure.
still liked the twist. You know,
Yeah.
I still liked that it was that. Yeah, I'm trying to think how else I would have, like watching it now, how else would I have hoped it would have ended? Like, what could have made it more interesting? But it is a movie that wraps up. You know what I mean? It doesn't, like, leave this lingering question about what happens to these people we know.
Sure. Maybe it just ends with the two of them scuba diving off into the sunset.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and like, you know, I didn't know that this was a thing of like women's only scuba class.
Yeah, no, I've never heard of that either. I wonder what would be interesting to see suddenly, like, Debra Winger is in jail, and the next thing we see is Theresa Russell hitting on Terry Quinn. That could be interesting.
That'd be great.
She's in Washington now.
You could have Debra Winger becoming a Black Widow.
Yeah, but she's in prison.
Well, no, like...
Oh, if you kept the twist.
Right, if you kept the twist, but Debra Winger is now, like...
That would be interesting. Like, she learned...
Goes back to
from,
DOJ and fucks
the
shit up.
The student has become the master.
Yeah. Okay, so throw into the last clip, we asked what your expectations were for your return to Black Widow.
I'm sure I'll enjoy it again. I remember enjoying it so much. I do remember a lot about it. I'm really interested to know what wasn't interesting to me the first time, like anything that kind of sticks out to me of like, how come I don't remember that? Like, why are my memories all focused over in this area because of my 16-year-old brain? Like, those were the things that stuck out to me. I feel like, too, wasn't there kind of like some homoerotic kind of, like she's obsessed with her to some degree. Like there's kind of a suggestion that Debra Winger to some degree falls in love with her. But I feel like that's a realization I'm having more about it now than I was really thinking about at the time.
Did you find it odd that it was only just dawning on you that there was a sort of sapphic homoerotic element to the film that didn't read that way to your younger self?
Yeah, it didn't. And it's so clearly there, you know? I mean, it is so clearly like about like from the kiss and everything, you know? I don't know why that wasn't stronger. I really remembered more about her relationship with the men than the fact that they had kind of woven in this kind of homoerotic thing with her. It was only when we were kind of talking about it, I'm like, oh, right, she kisses her.
But it's such a non-romantic kiss. It's so aggressive.
Yeah, like a kiss of death.
Yeah, it's like a Michael Corleone kiss,
Yeah.
right? When he knows Fredo has betrayed him.
Yeah.
It's so quick. There's no, like, telegraphing of it. And it's this very kind of forced, like, there's no way to avoid that if you're Debra Winger.
So there's that kiss, but then like the whole thing where she's giving her mouth to mouth, they're practicing the mouth to mouth at the scuba class, and she literally says, I hope you're not taking this personally. And you frequently just see Debra Winger like really looking at her, like observing her, like she even, when they're laying in the lawn chairs and she like looks all up and down her body, and Theresa Russo's like, what? And she's like, oh, we've been in the pool all day and you look like that and I look like this. It's interesting because like, I don't know if men do this as much. You guys could answer this better than I could. But I do think as women and girls, like we'll look at, especially like when you're young and looking at older women and girls that you admire and that you would want to be like, you know, if you kind of have this aspiration, that there is that thing to like the way you kind of want to study them. I think that's why there's so many like female vloggers, right? And what if you watch like a lot of women vloggers, so much of it is just like their daily life. What do they wear? What are they eating? Where do they go? What do they do? Sometimes about their relationship, like, you know, if they're married or have a boyfriend, that's curious or interesting. And I think that feels like a very female thing to me. And I think that this movie was tapping into it. And like even when you see Debra Winger in her apartment and she's got all the slides and she's overlapping them and kind of like going up and putting her hand over the picture of the hand and just like, and then she goes in the bathroom and she looks at herself in the mirror, like she pulls her hair back and there's a lot about emulation and transformation that's interesting in this movie. And there is a very, like, is she in love with her herself or does she want to be her? Like, what is driving that? And that maybe she doesn't even know.
And it's probably 6 of one, half dozen of another, too. Like, I think it's both things sort of like warring with each other inside of her, you know?
And wanting to be desired by Paul because he desired her, you know, like, because he.
Yeah, I don't think either one of them could actually have wanted Paul.
No, not that much. And do we even believe that it was, but it was more just about getting into each other's skin, or, well, for Debra Winger getting into Theresa Russell's skin, because Theresa Russell doesn't seem to have the same interest in the reverse direction. Like, she actually weirdly opens up to her before she figures out that she's tracking her.
Yeah.
She kind of like seems to be like, and you never see Theresa Russell really with any strong female friendships, you know, like the Sarah person, like the Lois Smith character, there's a distance there. You know, where she's just like, no, I don't want you to come upstairs with me, even though I'm sad you go, you get some rest. Like, she seems
Let me be with my furs.
She like she's such a lone wolf. So, like, here's a great example. Like, the hardest part of me moving to Los Angeles was leaving my best friend Lori, who you guys had on for Urban Cowboy,
who for some reason won't move to LA.
I mean, really, come on, what's friendship? No, but it's like, that was like the hardest part, was like being away from her. I missed her so much. Like, when
it wasn't finding a place for your furs?
It wasn't. That was all solved.
Okay.
But like, here you have this character who's such a lone wolf. Like, she doesn't seem to have any friends. And then why Debra Winger's character? Why does she?
Debra Winger doesn't have any friends.
No, she doesn't either. She's a woman who's surrounded by men. Both of them are. And then they form this friendship, this kind of weird thing. And like, and I think it's so interesting.
A dude suck friendship.
A dude suck friendship. Like, shouldn't they all just go away?
Yeah.
And like, when she gives her the pin, and she, like, Debra Winger's like, well, you know, I guess my gift was the groom, but I also got you this. And then she's like, as she's getting ready to open it, she's being kind of nice. She's like, whatever it is, I'm sure I'm going to love it. You know, she like literally says that. And then she sees that it's kind of a bitch ass gift. Like, you know, I know you're a killer gift.
Yeah.
Here's a Black Widow pin.
Mm-hmm.
But she seems genuinely kind of hurt that it wasn't a nicer, you know, that it wasn't a friendly present.
Well, that's why she gives her the hard kiss.
Yeah, where she's just like, all right, you bitch, it's on.
It is kind of tacky, too.
It looks like she got it at the like, you know, the Honolulu flea market or something.
Yeah, or she pulled it out of like a crane game at an arcade.
Yeah.
Like Crystal Spider.
Probably not real diamonds on that.
But you did say something earlier that I want to piggyback off of, Laura Faye, where you said, like, the way that they talk about each other. I think that is a component of women friendships. Like, let's say, to specify here, like straight women have like a casualness in which they complement each other that straight men do not.
Yeah.
Like, men
we don't
very
compliment
rarely
each other at all.
We don't compliment each other, especially on physical appearance, right?
Oh, like I watch The Housewives, and it's just like, you look so pretty, you look so cute. Oh, you know, I don't hear men doing that for each other ever.
No, and we should.
I mean, if someone's junk looks good in their jeans, I will say, hey, your junk's looking really good in your jeans. But that's as far as I'll go.
So every time you see Sean.
Yeah.
When I'm
every
wearing
time I see
those
Sean,
jeans.
hey, Sean, those nut huggers.
John, yeah.
Yeah.
And
way to go, buddy.
We should point out that Josh's wife gives him 5 of these a year to use. Yeah. So he has to be very economical with when he compliments.
I can't throw them out all willy-nilly.
No. But there is so much of that here. Of course, when they're kind of playing the cat and mouse game, Debra Winger does it. Theresa Russell does it, but I thought that was, you know, I'm never going to like do myself any favors by saying, like, speaking for women, it does feel like a legitimate aspect of a friendship to be very complimentary of each other when they're looking good, you know, and they point it out. And it's sad, Josh, that we don't have that as men.
You know what else I was thinking about watching it this time? Why didn't she kill her? When she
didn't she kill her?
When she had the opportunity to drain that tank, and she could have killed her, and she chose to save her. I'm like, was it a warning? You know, just kind of like, don't fuck with me? Or did she suddenly be like, she's my only friend and I'm still interested in this?
That dynamic is revisited in Point Break, where Swayze could take out
I haven't seen Point Break.
Johnny Utah and doesn't.
Yeah, he could give him a bad parachute, right?
I think because there's no sport in it.
She's playing.
Yeah.
There's some benefit, I think, that she's seeing in winning over Debra Winger's trust in that moment.
Like, I couldn't be a killer. I could kill you, but I save you.
Just let me take this dumb French guy out. He wants to build a hotel next to a fucking volcano. Like, this guy should die anyway. This is stupid shit.
He's going to kill thousands of people.
I had completely forgotten about that hotel thing. And I love that that's like, you literally put that in the intro. Like, that is one of the things that has bothered you the most about Paul. And I'd completely forgotten. It's like, yeah, why is he doing that? That's weird.
Baffling.
But like in that scuba scene where Debra Winger is completely out of oxygen, there is such a compelling little shot or two where you think Theresa Russell is keeping her down, like they're struggling, like they're fighting.
But she's like,
and
bitch, be cool. I'm trying to give you my fucking...
cool.
Yeah.
You do not want to race your bubbles to the top, right? And they do a great job of setting that framework in the scuba diving scene of like how to not get the bends, right? But I mean, at least for me, there was like that first instinct of like, oh, she's dragging Debra Winger down. And to like find out the wrinkle of like, no, she's sharing with you her oxygen. Yeah, I don't think it's like completely clear in a way that's satisfying though of why she doesn't just take out her biggest threat.
Yeah.
A threat that she is at some point hitting herself over and screaming over.
But I do think that part of her likes and maybe even loves her.
You think?
Yes.
Well, she is pretty upset. I mean, that's a question. When she's hitting herself in the stomach and screaming when she finds out that Debra Winger is in fact the one who's tracking her, because she already knew she was being tracked back in Seattle, which is why she goes to Hawaii. I do love that moment with the brochures where she's like, get me out of this rain. Where am I going? Oh, I know. Because I'm like, that's how I felt when I moved to LA from Portland. I was like, yeah, let's go somewhere where it's warm. She's so upset, she's like punching herself in the stomach and screaming. And I'm like, I wonder if it's because she's pissed about being tracked, but she's also sad that that's who it is, that she thought she had a friend.
I think she's been betrayed by the real love of her life.
Maybe. What do you think, Sean?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if we'll ever get to kind of the bottom of what she wants out of Debra Winger and how betrayed she feels, because she knows that somebody is tracking her very, very
But she
early.
didn't know, but she didn't think it was her.
She gets like a description, though, of her at some point, too, right? Like we get a physical description of the woman that is coming after her.
When she's still in Seattle.
But I don't think she suspects it until she calls Sarah.
Yeah, you're correct, yeah.
She's just like that it could be this person she's befriended, that it's like, that's why this girl got close to her. Like, she brings her over to her apartment right away, lets her share her clothes, gives her hairdresser, takes her to a party.
Yeah.
All women want to do a she's all that type of transformation to new friends. But I do think it's important, even on a very like small scale, that Debra Winger saves Theresa Russell to start the relationship. So she doesn't have to share a respirator with sick,
someone who's got
ugly
typhoid.
Betty. Yeah. Like with coffee, typhoid Mary, whatever you want to call her, who, is brought into that scene to just kind of be repellent.
Yes.
Like, you can imagine the casting specs, Laura Faye, on that. Like,
oh my God. Yeah.
We just want
somewhat
somebody gross.
Real looking to unattractive, good at acting sick.
Homely.
Oozes irritating.
Grating.
Yeah, grating to be around.
Yeah.
So that, their relationship starts with like, oh, I'm saving you from kind of a gross guy or an awkward situation, but like, I'll swoop in and I'm cute enough that you can share a respirator with, right?
Yeah.
I know that I'm attractive enough for us to like have our lips on the same
us to share a moment.
Yeah.
So what interested you watching the film now that didn't interest your teenage self?
Probably just such a heightened awareness of Debra Winger living in this very male-dominated world and the way that she was navigating it, and then her becoming obsessed, like we were talking about earlier, with a woman who was in control. Like, that part wasn't as clear to me back then as I was kind of seeing it now. I think they did actually a pretty good job of setting that up, of these two powerful women. Debra Winger kind of finding her power,
right.
And it's by trying to emulate someone who already was smarter than all the men around her.
And it's not often that you get essentially a two-hander that's two women like this.
And that's the romance.
Yeah.
Was them. Like, there were these men in it, but like the real relationship and the real struggle was that. And then, then there was that also like kind of sapphic quality to it as well, which kind of went over my head. But I mean, the Paul thing is in there, but he is very much supporting to the plot. Like, you don't really want Debra Winger to end up with him. And she doesn't seem to. Like, he doesn't, like, follow her out of the courthouse. She walks away alone.
Yeah.
Like, she's, and you're like, yeah, maybe she didn't even care about him all that much in the end, outside of, like, not wanting him to die.
He'll be dead soon enough.
Yeah.
To the lava.
Yeah.
But
You had a freak volcano accident.
it is a nice, yeah. I mean, they come really as close to having a menage a trois with Paul as possible without having them both in the bed. Like, Paul crosses over in a matter of hours between them, and it, it's still a little bit like.
Well, no, but
I think they're fucking each other when they're fucking Paul. Probably.
Theresa Russell had not slept with him. Debra Winger got him first. That was weird to me, being like, wait, he's an adult man in a relationship with this woman. He seems to get around, and he's hanging on to Theresa Russell, who's like blue balling him and not sleeping with him. And that conquest means so much to him that when he's like, yeah, we should break it off because Debra Winger will sleep with me and you won't. And then she's like, okay, actually I will. And then he's like, marry me.
That's the thing, right? That Theresa Russell correctly hypothesized about Paul is like, you
want what you can't have.
You want what you can't have. And so, like, I'm going to, like, demonstrate that by tossing you
what you can have.
Exactly. Yeah, Debra Winger, so much so that
the stray that I picked up at fucking scuba class.
that I had to get permed.
Right.
For you to bed.
I mean, she literally seems more like the look. I always remembered the look on Theresa Russell's face when Debra Winger says, how about your hairdresser? And she takes this pause and she goes, sure. And you feel like she doesn't really want to share the contact. Like, I always got the vibe kind of like, all right, I guess I'll let you go to my hairdresser. But now it's going to potentially be harder to get in because you might be like vying for appointments too. Where she,
and you've got a lot of hair, Debra.
She's got a lot of hair and lots of curls to tame. Yeah. And then she so willingly hands up, like she pawns Paul off on.
I mean, a good hairdresser, let's be honest, could be more valuable than a man.
I think definitely is to her.
But for like the mid-'80s, this is an interesting thing. Like that bothered the character. Like sharing a hairdresser bothered her more than sharing a lover. And a lover she hadn't even had yet.
Yeah.
It's like, I'll let you do it first. I'll be the seconds. I'm fine with that.
Well, she's met him. He's not that great.
She wanted somebody to test the goods.
She's just waiting to kill him.
Exactly. Like if Debra Winger had come away and been like, it wasn't good. She would have been like, I'll move on. I'll find another rich Hawaiian guy.
He does that thing with his teeth. It's just...
What thing with his teeth? Oh, I get what you're saying. Yes.
More on the Unkind Rewind in just a minute.
Let's move on to picking up the scraps. Is there anything we've missed that anybody wants to talk about?
I will tell you something I noticed that I had completely forgotten about from that period of time is how shitty 80s luggage was. Like when Debra Winger's pulling all her stuff and she's got the dumb strap and it's like falling over. That was like my first set of luggage, I remember. I was just like, oh my God, thank God for roller bags. Thank God somebody came along and redesigned that. It just was a memory of like how bad luggage was. And then another moment, too, is like when she goes to the library and that librarian is like so unbelievably helpful. She's just like reading shit off a list and he's fetching books from hither, thither, and yon on a million topics and being like, when they take the time to like watch him go through and like pull all these books from random shelves. He's got this huge stack and he's like, okay, what else? And I'm like, do you remember you used to be able to call a library because you had a question because you couldn't Google it? And you would call the library and say, hey, I'm wondering about blah, blah. And they'd be like genuinely excited and be like, let me go look that up for you.
Let me put you on hold and find the Earth's circumference.
I was an English and theater major in college. And because my parents wouldn't pay for my education if I majored in theater.
Sure.
So
you got that worthless degree that I have?
Do you have an English degree too?
Yes.
Yeah. But not worthless. Josh, I don't know if you have.
I know, I'm joking.
Do you have an English degree?
I do, yes.
Yeah, but did you have to take library science for English majors when you graduated? I'm telling you, it's one of the only
libraries had died by the time we were in college.
Oh.
They were just dead.
It was one of the only what?
It was one of the only classes I switched to a pass, no pass, because I was afraid I was going to fail it because it was so hard. I thought, piece of cake. It was a research class, and they would literally give you these quests where they would say, all right, you got to go through the library and you got to look up something in a concordance and then go find this thing. And you had to photocopy all the evidence of this like scavenger hunt they would send you on in the library and prove that you had found all the appropriate things. So it would be like, you'd have to set aside like 2 hours to go to the library and do this little scavenger hunt and photocopy all the pieces of evidence that showed the trail that you had done all the pieces of it. And it was so unbelievably hard. I was like, and I've never respected librarians more. It's like you are a genius researcher is what that job is.
I bet Debra Winger's character had to take that class.
She probably did. But I remember watching that going, that's right. That's what libraries did. Like, I remember even being in like the 2000s working for Oregon Children's Theater and needing a study guide for a program that I was doing. And I called a library and said, can you put together a study guide of books for me? Here's what this is about. And she got back to me with the study guide for no money. I mean, that's amazing. It still amazes me. And then that dude in that, I was like, that's right. That's what it was, the experience. I don't know how many people still frequent them, but that's what you're getting your degree in if you're studying to do that. And that's what you could have been expected to be asked to do. That stuck out to me.
I thought it was quite insulting how much information hotel clerks give out. Like Theresa Russell got
never
so
go to a
far
hotel
with,
again.
Never go to a hotel. Because like they're like, oh yeah, she just checked out. Or, oh yeah, she's headed to this spot. Go kill her there. Maybe if you look like Theresa Russell, you can get, there's a little bit of leeway. But wow, yeah, it was like no protection of privacy.
Yeah.
What hotel knows what hotel its guests are going to also?
Yeah.
Yeah, like they would have forwarded that information.
Have my mail forwarded to the...
Well, she was living there. Oh, wait, no. Debra Winger wasn't living there. She was just in town for a couple days. Because Theresa Russell was like living at that hotel while she was figuring out how to get the guy in Seattle.
Josh, do you have a scrap?
Oh, I have a couple. For starters, when you guys have a fortune cookie, do you just like put it on the table and fucking smash it with your fist like that?
No, because I'm going to eat that thing, so I want big pieces. I love fortune cookies.
Maybe if I'm like topping, an ice cream sundae or something like that. But yeah, it did seem like an aggressive power move.
Yeah.
Maybe she just wanted that fortune.
Maybe. Now, I did feel like the Hops apartment or penthouse or whatever did not scream Dallas at all. Like that was not a Dallas abode.
Is that what he's from? Dallas, not Houston?
I thought it was Dallas, but maybe it's Houston. Either way, it's neither of those.
Josh is a former Texas resident.
I thought they were in the Carolinas.
I thought they were in
definitely got Texas.
I think they were.
Was it Texas?
Yeah.
Okay.
I could be wrong though.
Oh, Diane Ladd says, well, she was going to go back to her people.
Yes, in Charleston.
In Charleston, and we don't want any bad feelings. So, but I think that's where Theresa Russell's character had said she was from and where she was going.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Laura Faye, Texas, of course, is known for big toy.
Yeah.
One of the major industries there is big toy.
It's
oil and then big toy.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then energy, that doesn't work. So I was Red Cross CPR and first aid certified less than a decade after this, and there was no point in which we were putting our mouths on each other.
Right.
Could also be very dangerous, right? Like if you're plugging a nose and breathing into somebody, lungs aren't really conditioned for that.
No. If you're not actually dying.
Yeah, but you had to get a little bit more sapphic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just didn't have the...
I wonder if that was the whole thing to set it in Hawaii. We need a place where we can have them kiss, like, have like a mouth-to-mouth type thing. So where do people scuba dive? Oh, Hawaii.
She did just keep moving west, though, right? Like, she went from New York to Texas to Seattle.
To Hawaii.
She did have
Next
that
up,
kind of
Singapore.
Yeah.
She's just going to work her way around the globe. And then go north-south.
So this is Bob Rafelson's sixth feature. He did that Monkeys movie Head. Then he did 5 Easy Pieces, The King of Marvin Gardens, Stay Hungry, and The Postman Always Rings Twice. His output after this is mostly forgettable fare, but he did work with Nicholson a few more times. We've got Conrad L. Hall here as the cinematographer. This is his return to being behind the camera after 10 years away, but he shot Harper, Cool Hand Luke, In Cold Blood, The Day of the Locust, Marathon Man, American Beauty, and Road to Perdition. This is Ron Bass's second screenwriting credit. The next year, he comes in to work with Barry Morrow, who has the story credit on the screenplay I'm about to mention. So, presumably Barry Morrow was the one who first wrote it, but Ron Bass is also the other credited screenwriter on Rain Man, for which he won an Oscar the next year.
Wow.
Interesting.
Okay.
Yeah. obviously I already talked about Theresa Russell a little bit, but Debra Winger's coming off of Urban Cowboy, An Officer and a Gentleman, Terms of Endearment, and Legal Eagles, netting Oscar nominations for Officer and a Gentleman and Terms of Endearment. Sammy Frey, he had dated Bridget Bardot in the 60s.
He's Paul?
Yeah, he's Paul. Okay. He had smaller roles in La Verite, Cleo from 5 to 7, Band of Outsiders, he's a bigger role, and then The Little Drummer Girl. Winger was given her choice of either role, but she opted for the one she was playing because she didn't understand the Black Widow's motivation for killing, which I think she's right in. Yes, I think she's right in not understanding that.
I think like if Winger had chosen that, Theresa Russell loses a job, right? You do not, if Debra Winger chooses to go the path of the Black Widow, like we're not getting Theresa Russell wedged in there to play the frumpy DOJ
data analyst.
Yeah. She would have snapped off Terry O'Quinn's hands,
Yeah. So budget for this was $10.5 million. It was released February 6th, 1987. It opened number 4 at the box office behind repeat performers Platoon and Outrageous Fortune. And Light of Day, which opened that weekend on 300 more screens but made less per screen. What do we think this ended up making at the box office? Budget at 10.5.
Budget was 10.
15?
Yeah, I'd say between 15 and 20.
25.2 million.
Oh, wow. It did well.
It did.
And you guys never heard of it?
Never heard of it?
No, never heard of it.
And I actually remember it being in 17 magazine. Like I read 17 magazine, which is a girls' magazine, and I remember they actually,
we get it.
Huh?
We still get it.
Oh, you still get it? Okay.
Yeah.
I did. Is it still around? There was a little picture of them standing across from each other at the wedding, like right before the kiss. There was like they would, 17 magazine would always have like an entertainment page, and they would like review a few movies and kind of recommend. And I remember them saying good things about it, and then having that little picture. And I have like a clear memory of that.
Yeah.
So you knew that picture was in there, Laura Faye, but you didn't get the box office exactly right?
I didn't.
So this finished just behind Harry M. Henderson's Police Academy 4, Citizens on Patrol, Baby Boom, and Inner Space, and it finished just ahead of Ernest Goes to Camp, Raising Arizona, Jaws the Revenge, and A Room with a View.
It beat A Room with a View and Raising Arizona.
Those are all movies that I consider massively more popular.
Yeah, and
it beat out Ernest Goes to Camp.
Okay, yeah.
Hey, Vern.
I did not go see that.
So this has a 54 on Rotten Tomatoes. It's hard with stuff like this, though, because, the movie's old enough that Rotten Tomatoes is, who knows where it's pulling the reviews from. Ebert thought that it had no effort to keep us in suspense, though Siskel strongly disagreed. If you watch their back and forth, Siskel loved this and Ebert did not. Vincent Canby thought that it promised more than it could deliver, but loved Winger and Russell's performances. So sort of mixed reviews, but Gene Siskel was... It's weird to see Siskel and Ebert get in as big of an argument over a film as they did over this.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Siskel was fighting for it.
It came to blows. It's not an episode that they air a lot.
Yeah.
Ripped a big hole in Ebert's sweater.
Yeah. They were sitting in the balcony and one got tossed over.
Yeah. So, major gripes. Starting with our guest, what was your biggest gripe with the film this time around?
My biggest gripe just kind of about the film itself is like, how come we never find out what her motivation was, and the weird stuff at the end with Paul. Like that to me just feels like messy. Like, and I wasn't questioning it then, but I definitely questioned it now.
Sure.
And then I guess my biggest gripe too is like so many unlikable men in this, for like just Paul being kind of creepy.
Just verisimilitude, right?
Yeah, but like I was definitely struck by Terry O'Quinn being such a creep. Like I remember my mother when he's massaging her neck and he creeps his hand down. I remember my mom being like, "That's creepy, Lo. That's so creepy." I remember her specifically saying that. Probably as someone who was in the workforce at a time when people would do stuff like that and get away with it. She couldn't enjoy Mad Men when that came out. She's like, that reminds me of going to work in that period of time and how much you got hit on and how uncomfortable that was. She goes, I can't really enjoy it because it's just too familiar.
Yeah.
So that was kind of a gripe of just like content about it, but accurate.
Sure.
How about you guys? What are your gripes?
I think that they get to the slide projector thing very early, right? Like, I think that the reveal of these two women, of these photos, happens kind of unconventionally very, very early in the movie. It almost seems like her figuring out, okay, this woman and this woman are the same woman and they have these husbands and they died mysteriously, should come a little bit later. I don't mean like kind of usual suspects end of the movie later, but like a little bit later in the movie. But also like once that's exposed, like how does not everybody in the DOJ be like, yes, like we doubted you, but we can see that these two women are the same. And you've pointed out so many like little touchstones about like their hands or their chins or like they're
forgotten about her going to that policeman when she's trying to save Williamson, and he gives her no credit at all. But I remember he's like, "Bee venom, boy, they're gonna have my ass. I didn't think of that." Like I always kind of remembered him saying that line.
Blood is on his hands.
Oh yeah, blood is on his hands for sure. Like I mean, he completely discredits her, and he's a total jerk about it.
It just seems like that's such a big puzzle piece. And I guess like so many rich men in America are dying mysteriously that like they just can't be bothered to like put any type of like field agent. It's not like they even
I wish that
assign
were
this.
true, right?
Right. Well, I mean, of the time, right? I mean, nowadays. But in 1987, for them to not go like, let's at least kick it to the FBI and they can send somebody on there. And like maybe we get a nice kind of like partnership, right? Where Debra Winger is partnered with a field agent. She works the data side of it. She learns from him. And then maybe he mysteriously dies, right? Like maybe that's the victim that Theresa Russell like takes out. And it's like, then we have kind of this intricate, like heightening of the stakes that she has already killed somebody from the DOJ or the FBI. And is she going to do the same thing with Winger? It just feels like there's so much of like I can't remember who calls her like a dingbat fed.
It's probably that cop.
But yeah, that they don't see the obvious at that point because she's a woman or she's just a data person. But like, it's like, this is very clearly the same person. And it's discovered in minute 11.
Yeah.
And then a very small gripe is that if I'm going back and I'm doing this movie, or I could retcon this one particular, I would have Debra Winger win that poker hand. Because it gives us a nice little touch that she knows, that she can read this person.
That she's a good poker player because she's about to go play poker with Theresa Russell.
Yeah, and that she calls his bluff. And he's a guy, right, that they say like, oh, he has that look again, or like he always wins, or however they kind of tease.
Well, David Mamet probably has it in his contract, like The Rock and like Vin Diesel, that they can never lose a fight.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
He can't lose at poker.
Yeah.
David Mamet can't lose in poker, and Theresa Russell gets to show her butt, but like quickly cover it up again.
Yeah. 3 seconds of butt.
But I thought that would have been a nice little thing, though. A nice little touch that they gave her the ability to deduce that she is being lied to.
Mm-hmm. Sean, it's funny you would say that because I remember watching that scene as it was coming up, and I had a memory of her winning it. And then it's like, oh, she didn't win that. Okay.
I don't know. Maybe it's just something that they didn't really kind of think about the implications of. They're just like, oh, just whatever, she loses. Yeah. But like, I don't know, have fun with it. And like, let's have some symbolism here for Christ's sake. Have her figure out that this guy is lying. And that can help her later on with Theresa Russell.
I do think that she needs to be discovering more of she comes, a lot of the first like act of the movie is her coming into the office and D.W. Moffat has figured out something for her. And I think that if she's this like investigator, speaking sort of to what you were complaining about with the poker, if she's this like investigative analyst or whatever, then I think she needs to be finding this stuff, not having it fed to her, but whatever. Paul's terrible.
Yeah, he's terrible.
My biggest gripe is Paul.
Like you're setting this up as this desirable thing. And I had trouble with that even back then. I'm like, why are they fighting over that? Or, why are they both into that? If it's not, it must just be the money.
Yeah.
Because he was kind of creepy to me always.
And very dumb.
Right.
But also, like, we're going back to Laura Faye's thing about motivation. Like, she has enough money by this point.
Now she's just doing it for sport.
Yeah.
I don't know.
She has at least two...
Well, she's met this Paul guy and knows he needs to go down.
Yeah, he even made her sign a prenup. Like, she can't get anything.
Yeah.
But she just wanted to take him out as like a public service.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that he doesn't know about the Florida law, but she apparently does, because she wouldn't have signed that if she...
Maine law? I didn't look it up. I normally do, but I fucking feel like shit, so I didn't look it up.
Josh doesn't like Googling anything about Florida.
I don't, really. Can we just build a wall, please? Build a wall around Florida.
Unkind Rewind will be right back.
All right. So how would we fix this film for a modern audience? Starting with Laura Faye, if you've got anything, but if not, I'm sure we can jump in.
How to fix it for a modern audience. I feel like we've touched on a lot of that stuff.
Sure.
Well, here's the thing. I could say take out the, like, gross sexual misconduct in the office.
Sure.
But it's also some of what's driving her. So
Right,
if you
100%.
took that out and she was fine, would we even have if
I think you almost have to leave that in.
The misogyny.
I think you leave it in, but I think you find some justice there, right? Like, she either has a confrontation, she embarrasses him, he gets fired. There's some kind of, like, she gets back at him for, like, basically groping her.
Right. So let's say instead of, like, she goes to Hawaii because she gets fired. Yeah. Like, it becomes that, and she's like, okay, and then she goes and she solves this, like, huge mystery of all these rich men dying, and she comes back and gets his job or whatever.
Or frames him for a murder.
Something, yeah. Such that there's some kind of thing where he doesn't just get to be, like, he's to some degree shown as someone who helps her, because he lets her go do that, and he's nice, and he comes to her apartment and, like, sees her before she leaves and returns the gun to Sears or whatever, like that. I don't know.
They have a great policy, by the way. I did look it up.
Did you?
Is
that what you Googled for this?
Yeah, you get 100% store credit when you return a gun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, like, you don't necessarily have to entrap him into a confession behind plexiglass, but you need that character to kind of get taken down a notch or two. Whereas presumption is she's just going to go back and have to work under this guy again and, maybe face this same type of harassment.
She doesn't really get any kind of glory for it, but it would be rewarding to see her, like, it feels a little selfless, I mean, she kind of does, she wants to save these people from dying who shouldn't. Wouldn't it be fun if they did this over and we let Williamson be the last guy that actually gets to survive, and they just plugged Paul in, like if she went to Hawaii and then Seattle? Wouldn't that have been satisfying to have been, like,
swap
have
them,
that,
please.
Would you really want him to survive?
Yeah, because Nicole Williamson wouldn't want to fucking put a dumb hotel next to a volcano.
But he also would probably have never slept with Debra Winger if he was already in love with Theresa Russell. That dude was loyal.
Maybe the medical alert necklace that he wears advising of his penicillin is a ploy, and it actually just clears up his syphilis. Like, he's not allergic at all.
Yeah.
But he realizes when his syphilis clears up that she tried to kill him.
Yeah.
I think that you would maybe, in kind of a modern remake of this, you would, to be fair, like, I don't know who would be producing it, but I think you might ramp up the lesbian stuff.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
That's my fix too. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you would have them way more.
It's way less, like, super undertone. Like, it's more on the surface.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Basic Instinct kind of delves into this a little bit more, where we have this woman, and, like, Michael Douglas certainly is, like, falling victim to that in a very kind of hetero way, but, like, Sharon Stone has her, kind of lesbian partner, Patsy, also in play. Yeah. But I think, like, depending on who you kind of, again, this is a great question that you asked earlier, Laura Faye, about, like, who you would cast in this. Like, I think a little bit about, like, Alex Daddario from White Lotus as perhaps a character that would fit in well.
Who did she play?
Alexandra Daddario was, she was also in True Detective season 1.
She's the young,
she's got
newlywed wife.
Yes,
in season 1.
Yeah.
I think casting her as, like, the Theresa Russell type might be like a really interesting, role for her to kind of play multiple roles. I do really feel, speaking for Laura Faye here, as an actor, like, this is a really meaty role.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you could do a lot with it. And getting an actor that kind of, maybe you cast against type a little bit. Maybe you cast somebody who doesn't really typically play the villain. Could be fun. But yeah, I mean, as Josh and I both agree here, that, like, this needs to be like a really sexually charged movie.
Yeah.
Throughout.
And that if we were more invested in that relationship and their potential like attraction to each other, it would up the drama of the whole thing, because then you would be like, that's why she didn't kill her when they were scuba diving, because she is kind of in love with her. Like they're
maybe being in like kind of a modern DOJ, unfortunately she's a little suppressed or have to be suppressive about her own sexuality. But like through like tracking this villain and through this weird friendship, like there's things that are awakening in her that like she didn't need to find some strange dick ever, because she's not straight. Right?
Yeah.
And that being pursued and being courted by this master of seduction kind of exposes and makes her kind of embrace her sexuality. It'd be at least one new way to go.
Yeah. I wonder, were they suggesting that Theresa Russell's character was maybe secretly a lesbian? And that's why she killed these men, because she didn't really love them and like them, and it was just sport? But like that's why she was upset about Debra Winger betraying her, because she was like mutually attracted to her?
Yeah, that could be.
Why cry on the first guy?
Because she has to leave that apartment. No, she wouldn't even have to.
Yeah, you definitely would have. If you had to leave that apartment, you would cry, to be fair.
Yeah, I don't know.
It was like maybe Upper West Side, probably view of the park.
Yeah.
That would suck. You have to leave New York,
Mm-hmm.
No more Broadway. Not in Texas. She probably had tickets for Cats.
She probably did. She wanted to see it again and again.
Can't go now. Can't be seen like enjoying that life, even though you're wearing red a lot of times when they're reading wills.
Now, on Broadway, do the cats all have buttholes or no?
I don't think you see the buttholes. I think those are...
So on Broadway, they also need to release the butthole cut?
There are certainly a lot of actors on that show who might willingly show you their butthole, but
Okay.
The cats themselves, I don't think Mistopheles had a visible butthole.
Right on. Okay, so Saving Graces. What was your favorite moment or element of the film? Starting with Laura Faye, if you've got it.
I'm going to let you guys start first. Let me think on that for a second.
Josh?
I guess, can I ask, did you guys enjoy this movie? Because we didn't really say, or were you like, ugh, that was like 2 hours, I'll never get back?
I did.
I liked it, yeah.
I thought it moved along really well. A gripe that I'm now just thinking of is that they do kind of this unfortunate thing where they fade to black at the end of certain scenes that makes it feel like a TV movie.
Yeah.
That just kind of rankles me as an editor and as somebody who watches a lot of movies. That just kind of felt like kind of a cheap way to end a scene. But the movie is paced really, really well. Yeah. And like we know who the bad person is immediately.
I routinely complain about pacing on the movies that we fucking do, and I didn't feel like this was paced badly.
Yeah. Like, there was never a moment where I was like, oh, this is dragging. Yeah. Or like, oh, God, can we just move on? Like, it felt like a really well-crafted story of chase and pursuit. And is she going to get there in time? Even when she gets there in time, she still is not in a position and she doesn't have the evidence enough to warn somebody who eventually dies. Like, I think that is like such a great little moment. And I went back and I watched it again of Debra Winger hesitating and not saying anything. And then feeling all the more
guilty,
responsible.
Guilty and responsible. And like that kind of like furthers her pursuit. But yeah, I liked it. I thought that both actresses fit their role. They rose to the occasion. I've always liked Debra Winger.
Yes.
This is like one of my first kind of real examinations of Theresa Russell's work. But yeah, they have a really good, with the exception of
Sammy Frey.
Yes. Of Paul, idiot Paul. Like, this is a great supporting cast. There's a lot of good little pop-ups here and there that you're like, oh, wow, they're in this?
Yeah, like that character actor who's playing the librarian. Artie. Yeah. That's Christian Clemenson, who's like, he was in Briscoe County Jr. He was Socrates Poole. So he has a bunch of weird like.
Yeah, I've seen him somewhere else.
He's been in tons of shit. He has literally 98 credits on IMDb that include shows where he was on like 50 episodes or more.
Even the Seattle Cop, I've seen him somewhere else. And I've seen him be good somewhere else. I couldn't quite narrow down if he even had a name in the credits.
Even people in small roles, like, I thought did some really good work. Like, I could be like, this is not like watching some like real time capsule, terrible of an era acting, right? Like, you see certain things and you're like, oh, that was definitely from then. I'm like, some of this stuff is it reads well.
I guess, okay, so to kind of put a bow on that, this is a movie that made me lament how few movies we get of this type and of this genre.
Yeah.
We have these two women going back to back. I mean, this type of genre without a man kind of getting in the way and sharing credit, like sharing top billing. Mm-hmm. It's just so rare. It is so rare. It was maybe just not seen as financially viable, unfortunately, or why we get so...
But it did much better at the box office than we think it would have.
Yeah.
You know, like, it made 2.5 times its fucking budget back. Just at the box office.
Yeah. I think compelling stories with two women as your leads, you know, I mean, at no point did this feel like a chick flick. Did this feel like, oh, this is a movie that like only women are going to like? Like,
right.
At no point was I not interested in what is coming next.
I wonder how this would be on the Bechdel test.
Well, they're talking about how they look
to
each other, you know? Like, it's got to pass a Bechdel test.
Talking about scuba safety.
Yeah, scuba safety.
CPR.
Don't take this personal about having to do mouth-to-mouth on each other.
Yeah, I can't remember what all the questions are for that one, but I mean, they're not just defined by their relationships with men.
Right.
So for me, that's a saving grace. For me, for sure. And I think something that attracted to me then that I still appreciate about it now is two really great, well-written roles for two women in a story where it was about them being clever and smart. Yes, to some degree for Theresa Russell's about her attractiveness, you know, her perceived attractiveness or whatever, but she was changing that up all the time, you know.
Yeah.
Its pros far outweigh its cons.
Yeah. And like we said, there's the things that happen, like the kind of sexual harassment type stuff in it, but it's also some of probably what's driving the characters. So even if you redid the movie, there'd have to be some, like, kind of showing the fact that these are women surviving by their wits in a man's world.
Yeah, something to contextualize everything in a larger picture.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for me, it's Debra Winger.
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah.
Surprise, surprise.
Twice now that it's been Debra Winger for me, but yeah.
Terry Quinn is great in it too. There's there's several performances in this.
Both of John Lakeman's parents are fine in this, yes.
Who? What? Oh, you're talking about
character
Patriot?
from Patriot, yeah.
Patriot, okay.
You know, I mean, I guess the reason, you know, and again, like, blame is never going to be able to be verified on this, but, like, I think that some of this movie's shortcomings might be Bob Rafelson.
Really?
I think if you gave this movie a more...
If you gave it to Verhoeven?
Not Verhoeven necessarily, but somebody like a Michael Mann.
Greta Gerwig.
Or a Catherine Bigelow, right?
Yeah.
Who can show that, like, in Zero Dark 30, like, a really engaging mystery and chase that's riveting. But, like, somebody like a Michael Mann or like a Jonathan Demme that has a nice balance between humanity but also action and tension. I just don't think Bob Rafelson is the guy necessarily that best accelerates the points of this movie that I think are its strong suits.
Yeah, like the noir elements.
Yeah, because you look at what he's done, and with the exception of Postman Always Rings Twice, but, like, he's not a guy that's like, okay, let's continuously keep ramping up the accelerator and ramping up the temperature on this pot of boiling water until we get to, like, a crescendo that, like, oh my God, I can't believe that they did that. Like, it's all just, like, really steady for most of this movie. We're all at just kind of like a lukewarm, maybe a couple bubbles. We never really get to that point where we're just, like, white-knuckled, like, what is going to happen? And I think, like, with a different director in the chair, you get
something that's more transcendent.
Yeah. And something that would have lingered, and something that Josh and I would have heard about a lot earlier than 2025.
Yeah.
I'm still wondering why you guys didn't. If it did that well at the box office.
I think that this was forgotten. There are plenty of movies that we come across over the course of going through lists where movies just kind of fall by the wayside if they don't have, you know, like, I think some of it is that Debra Winger kind of stops acting more or less. After Shadowlands in the 90s, she kind of just doesn't keep going. I assume that roles dried up for her, even though she had a Oscar nomination in the 90s. I think roles kind of dried up for whatever reason, and she didn't work from 95 to 2001.
And Theresa Russell never became that name that we needed her to become to, like, rope us back into this type of thing. I mean, Josh mentioned a movie earlier, Outrageous Fortune, which for whatever reason became a movie that my brother and I watched all the time. And yet there's still some people who have no idea what that movie is.
I've heard of it, but I don't think I've ever seen it. Is Bette Midler in that?
Yeah.
Okay.
But like that was my Black Widow, right? Like it was just a movie that like, oh yeah, saw it all the time. It was just in the house. Like I couldn't believe that other people hadn't seen it.
Yeah.
I was like, what are you, Shelley Long, Bette Midler, like George Carlin, Peter Coyote? Like what are you, how have you not seen this?
Yeah.
And they're like, you're a weirdo. Yeah.
Yeah.
Please stop talking about Outrageous Fortune, right?
Yeah. And again, like I only saw it on Showtime.
Yeah.
Because that was the one cable channel my family could get where we lived. Without owning a satellite dish, we couldn't have had HBO.
Yeah, and I was Showtimeless.
So, yeah, I was kind of at the mercy of things. If I was going to watch stuff at home, we either were renting it. To rent a movie, typically, when you walked into a store, you needed to know a little bit of something, or you were just like endlessly reading the backs of boxes. Like usually you looked for something you heard of.
Right.
I needed my mother to pull me aside and said, oh, this is going to be good.
Yeah, mine too. Like she would be like, oh, this is one. Oh, wait, are you making fun of my mother?
No,
I'm highlighting the fact that I don't have a mother like you that pulled me aside and said, I need you to watch this with me.
Debbie was asleep at the wheel.
Yeah, Debbie.
Debbie was too busy trying to win the pyramid show. She
was just chain smoking in the garage, ruminating about losing to a maitre d'.
When's LeVar gonna call me?
Yeah.
I wish someday that I would have some resolution about my...
I need closure on this, yeah. I'm just going to kind of stare out into the darkness.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Laura Faye, you were sure you'd enjoy Black Widow because you'd enjoyed it so much before. How did you ultimately end up feeling about Black Widow upon your return these many years later?
I enjoyed it again. I would not put this movie in like a top 10 list of any kind for me. I would never say, oh, this is one of my favorites. It was something I watched a lot for liking it at the time.
Yeah.
I thought it held up. I was not bored. I didn't watch this and just be like, why did I like this? Like, I completely understood, again, why I liked that. I remembered it so vividly. Like, the second the scenes would come up, I'm like, all right, that's what happens in this scene. That's what happens in this one. It made an impression on me for sure. Yeah. But I enjoyed watching it again. It was fun to have a reason to, like, see it again. I don't know now. Like, if we weren't doing this podcast, if I had seen it come up on cable, would I have stopped to watch it again at this point? I doubt that I would have. I probably would have been like, oh, I remember liking that, but I don't think I would have sat and watched the whole thing.
Yeah. I did enjoy it. Like, it's not perfect. There are plenty of problems with it, but no, I thought it moved well. I am routinely bored watching insert whatever movie. Like, I was bored watching part of Clue.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Like, I thought Clue was kind of badly paced. I didn't have that problem here, so.
Yeah.
You might say that this movie passed in the pass-fail scheme.
Yes.
That this was library sciences.
Yeah.
Oh, another callback.
Yeah.
I'm full of them.
I got it.
I would say, though, just as a closing button on this, and I didn't mention this to you earlier, Josh, but I would say that Laura Faye has one of the best memories of any guest.
Yeah, it's crazy.
We've ever had. I don't know if that's been pointed out to you often, but like your recall on your childhood, your recall on your adolescence, aspects of this movie that have been decades old since a watch. I mean, there's something pretty uncanny about your
No,
memory.
it's freakish. It's very frustrating for people in my life because you can't lie to me, or you can't like remember.
You can't win an argument.
You can't win an argument. You can't talk about something that happened where I can't tell you what you were wearing and exactly what you said. I've also told people, never tell me personal stories that you wouldn't want me to be able to specifically, like, Sean, I've got one with you. I'll tell you when we're not recording anymore. But
oh, God.
I want this to happen on mic.
I mean, it's like, I remember, like, I have actually had people in my life who've been like, I told you about this. Why don't you remind me? And it's about them. It's not even about me. I will tell other people's stories.
Yeah.
In great detail. And if they start telling the same story and I'm sitting there, I'm like, well, that's not actually what happened, this. And I'll remind them of what they told me when I told it. It is a freakish and I'm sure grating for a lot of people, but it drives me insane when people want to argue with me about an incident that happened and they question my memory on it, because I'm like, I actually remember this way more than I think you remembered. I think you're confused. And some people will try to argue, but I'm like, I've got such a track record of being fucking right about this stuff.
So the area of expertise that I would say, I will never argue with you on that, but sometimes, and maybe Josh, you do this as well, where you know something particular about a movie and you're like, don't bet me. right?
But you do that a lot, yeah.
Just don't bet me. Like, I know that Princess Bride is 1987 and The Thin Man is 1934.
Yeah.
And like, just for whatever reason, like hard year dates and an event or a movie are just
actually,
like intertwined.
I'm completely terrible with dates. Dates, anything involving numbers, history, terrible.
So you don't have the whole Mary Lou Henner,
No, but I'll tell you what. When I moved down to LA, I auditioned somehow. Yeah, I think I submitted on for To Tell the Truth. You know, that game show where you have 3 people and one of them is the real person and then 2 people are imposters. And what's great about that show is you get paid as like a SAG-AFTRA actor because you're basically going on and pretending to do that. So it's like an acting job. I did that, and you had to talk about something interesting about yourself, and I remember saying I had I think I said I had a photographic memory or something, because it was just an easier way, because I do see things like when I'm on stage and I got lost in a script, where I find myself as I'm like mentally looking at the pages in my head, and then I see the highlighting and the writing, and then I see where I need to be. Like, that's how I find it. They put me on as an impersonator for a woman with a superhuman memory. Like, there had been like stories about her, and she was like a Mary Lou Henner thing. And I fooled 2 out of the 3 judges.
Wow. Yeah, you would have fooled me.
My memory is very, very specific. And it is, for a movie, anything I was interested in. Like, I remember, I had seen Grease. God, can't even count the amount of times. If I couldn't fall asleep.
This is why you're best friends with Lori?
Yes, that's it. Exactly that. We bonded over Grease. No, I would run through Grease from beginning to however long it took till I fell asleep, line by line. I could do the movie in my head. I knew all the lines by heart from having watched it. The same with any kind of lyrics to songs. And then certainly for movies, like, I remember so many lines from this movies, like really specific lines, the way they said them, the costuming. I remembered a lot of that stuff. Not sometimes to the specifics of like, oh, the color scheme is very on the nose in this or something. But I do remember, I could have been like, yeah, when they go to the party, Debra Winger's in like a strapless dress, like a strapless black dress, and Theresa Russell's in this like red kind of cute, You
have almost like a Slumdog Millionaire type of memory, where like if it's a personal thing that has happened to you, you're able to kind of recall it in such a way that like that character like was able to do throughout that movie.
That's what this woman because I remember the thing about her memory, that I was like the real woman who was there. Because here's what was interesting. When we were standing backstage about to go on, they had said, okay, so when the light comes up on you, you're going to say, I have a superhuman memory. Like, that's what you had to say. She couldn't remember it. She turned to me 3 times before we went on and she went, what am I supposed to say?
Oh my God.
And she goes, yeah, it's not like a memory for facts and figures. It's just a memory about things that have actually happened to me. And she had journals, like just books and books of journals where she had written out. And if you pulled up any date and you said, okay, May 15th, 1982, she could tell you exactly what happened that day, what she had for lunch. She could tell you all the specifics of that day, and you could go through any of these journals, pick any day. There's no way someone could memorize that. And she clearly couldn't memorize. I have a
right there, yeah.
Superhuman. She couldn't do a 4-word line. And she goes, people think you're great in school for that. She goes, absolutely not. It's just about what happens to me. And so my memory definitely lives more in like anything that I find interesting or anything that's happened to me, I'll lock in on it. But not for general facts and figures. And that was a big thing. We had to say that the celebrity guests couldn't ask us, when did Princess Diana die? They couldn't ask you that, because she goes, I couldn't do that. She goes, I may remember if that was significant to me that day, I would remember it. But she goes, like, just pulling up facts and figures and numbers, that's not how that works.
Well, you didn't espouse your memory on the show. It's not something that you claim to fame. But it is ridiculously evident to us that, like, your recall is astounding.
Yeah.
KT was kind of the same way, actually.
Who?
Our guest for
our previous
for
guest.
Clue. Oh. For Clue. She also has a photographic memory, and she remembered pretty much everything about Clue and had not seen it in 30 years.
And for a lot of those things, with the exception of like the ones that I think I said, like author, I don't remember, because I think I only saw it once. But any of these movies where I've seen a few times, I'm probably going to be pretty accurate about something like that, because sorry if that made me a less interesting guest.
No.
The opposite.
Yeah.
No.
So before we say goodbye to listeners at home, where can they find you and your memory, Laura Faye?
I mean, Instagram is probably the best place to look for me. Laura Faye Smith is my handle, and that's where I tend to post the most about what I have going on.
Nice. Well, thank you for subjecting your childhood memories to the scrutiny of the Unkind Rewind, Laura Faye.
This was great. And you introduced a movie to Josh and I that we probably would have died without knowing existed.
Yeah.
Well, it's my pleasure.
And remember, Laura Faye, how do porcupines make love?
Very carefully.
Good advice for everyone.
Thank you. We'll see y'all next week. That was another installment of the Unkind Rewind, mining our childhood for content, one film from a guest's past at a time. Unkind Rewind is a Munchcasts production and can be listened to wherever you download your podcasts and watched on the Unkind Rewind YouTube channel. Music for this and every other episode of Unkind Rewind was composed by Divorcio Suave. Rate, review, like, and subscribe to Unkind Rewind on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, and Good Pods. Links to all of our social media accounts are in our show notes, but you'll find us as at Unkind Rewind Pod on Letterboxd and nearly every social media platform, all of which can be found at our website, unkindrewind.com. If you have a question, concern, complaint, or feedback, you can email the podcast at unkindrewindpod@gmail.com or call into our call-in line, area code 507-479-6440, and leave a message that can be played on air. Fans should join the Munchcast Discord to discuss this or any other episode of the Unkind Rewind with like-minded people. This dialogue may just make it into a future episode of the pod. The Unkind Rewind Patreon will be coming soon, so start squirreling that pocket change away. Thank you for listening to the Unkind Rewind.